How mean is that? You know what's funny? Bill Gorgo, I haven't seen him in 18 years. He has no idea. I just took his head off in a fucking ballroom before Murph and the Magic Tones come on. And until then, don't go change it.
Schmitty Comes Alive. Available only on the Joe Business page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com.
Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. First of all, let's deal with my voice
I'm so
right
great,
now
I gotta
because
say
it
it twice
is
and cut it out once.
messed up.
My head's
You can hear
seared.
Lily also is
It's
also
over every
sick. We're in a
You're
little
a
incubator here.
storyteller
We're the
in a
podcast in the
storytelling
plastic
podcast,
bubble
and the
this
only
week,
story you're
folks,
telling now is a
because
story about
I am
stories you don't wanna
completely
tell.
ill. Not completely. I'm not as bad as Lily even.
What
I
the
walked
fuck?
in. Lily's been sick 3 days now. 3 days, and she wears it like a badge of sickness on her face because her nose is red. Like she's got a Rudolph nose because she's got a sinus thing, so she's constantly blowing her nose, and then she has redness all around it. But me, I just have like a throat thing right now, but it could blossom into something worse. But I'm trying to keep it all away by drinking. I'm chugging orange juice and swallowing Dayquil and Advils, which I'm not supposed to take, or not Advil, Tylenol. I can't take ibuprofen. As you all know, because I will die. That seems harsh. Probably not going to die. Well, hey, let's take a chance. Let's take handfuls of it. We just talked about that yesterday on, I did a podcast. I'll tell you now. I'll plug it right now, folks. I was on the Probably Science podcast.
What?
Yes, because I think we all know about my long love of science. That's what I said to Andy. Andy Wood is the host. I can tell you scientifically why you did that. Andy Wood is the host of said podcast, and he approached me. He's asked me a couple other times. I will tell you this. This is the third time I've been asked. And I had to duck out on him the other two times for this reason. Well, I told him it was because of my schedule, which it was, because they record at like, fucking noon. Who can be up at noon to record a podcast? Nobody. So he was like, hey, man, can you do it? And I would say yes. And then like 2 days before, and I go, arg. And he would know that a pirate was texting him and I would not be allowed to do it. So he would go ahead and find another guest. But this time I could not turn it down, and I knew I'd be awake. And they did it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon anyway, so it worked out fine. But honestly, part of the other factor of why I didn't do it is because the show is called Probably Science. And folks, I don't know if you know anything about me other than the fact that I will not stop talking, but science is not for me. I am not a science person. I do not care for it. I do not care about it. I failed it constantly in school. And I didn't give a shit about Bunsen burners or frogs and scalpels and fucking molecules and beakers. And I did not care. I had earth science, failed it. I mean, everything. I remember when I was in school, the only science thing I ever did was I dug up a rock that had fossils on it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm totally like a scientist. I mean, it was like so bad. Like, look, I found fossils. And they're like, yes, but from what are those fossils? I don't give a shit. They're fossils. Look at this big rock I just carried forever. And then we had to go to the woods once and find a bunch of moss and shit. And I'm just like, man, I am not into this at all. It's wet out here and kind of cold. Let's go back into the room and read a book. And look, and I should say this. I failed all my other classes too. It's not like science was the only thing that made me go, fuck this, I can't participate. Unless it was English. I dominated English, and I would dominate in math. And I would have to. You know what the secret to my being good in school was? The only time it would ever get me to respond in school was when there was competition. I've talked about this on here. When there was like an algebraic thing, and she'd go to the board and do it with two other people. Well, I'd knock the fuck out of them and finish it immediately, even though I don't want to prove what X is 2 or whatever the fuck. I don't want 9 steps. I just told you that X is 2. Fuck algebra. But when I would go up to the board, because then it was like, fuck this, it's a race. Oh, I get it. It's a race now. So I would curb stomp these motherfuckers. I didn't even think twice. I might not have cracked a book the entire semester. I might have failed every quiz because I was asleep the whole fucking time, but I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I just didn't want to do it. Hey, does that sound familiar to anybody? Yeah, the rest of my fucking life? Absolutely. But I'd get up to the board and I would just curb stomp these motherfuckers. And I mean, and that's not even figurative. I would literally curb stomp these motherfuckers. I would go to the board, I would solve the equation, I would drag Mike Hulbert out to the parking lot, make him open his mouth, and I would just curb stomp him in the back of the head with math. Right there. Take a seat, Hulbert. Fucking plus signs and percentage signs all over the goddamn place. They'd come tumbling out of his head because his head was filled with math symbols, of course. I would take Keith Gaddy outside and just fucking punch him right in the gut and then curb stomp him right there in a fucking division sign, cough right out of his open jaw. I don't know why I was so violent in math class, but I was. That's how I wanted to be. Folks, I can't concentrate right now. I'm a little off. First of all, let's talk about this. It's a Tuesday record. Because I'm in between plane flights, and like I said, I'm ill. I've dodged the illness bullet this entire year. Everybody's got the flu. I was in a room here with Lily when she was ready to die. My wife had it. Everybody was all fucked up, and I was able to skate through. And then somehow on the plane home from San Antonio, some person smuggled on the fucking Ebola virus, and it climbed into my throat. So I'm chugging orange juice, and I'm doing what I can to try to fucking float through because I need my voice. Folks, you know that. I need my voice. Even though now you can hear it's a little shaky. Although I was complimented on my voice in San Antonio by somebody, but I won't go into that because that person probably doesn't want me to say it because it sounds ridiculous. You don't give me a compliment on Saturday and then have me bring it to the air on Tuesday, right? Do you? All right, somebody liked my voice. There you go. That's all you need to know. No, this woman, Cindy, heard my voice, and she liked my voice, and I was excited about that. I don't know about excited. That seems strong. But it's always nice when people like what you do, and they tell you that the things that you have are good. Stupid. I'm talking, I'm jittery right now, because it's like, what is it, 4 o'clock? It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday. All right, here's the thing. I'm on a plane again this week. I was supposed to be in Detroit this week. And unfortunately, I had to postpone and reschedule. I can't go into the reasons why I had to reschedule just yet. I can tell you that I'm not going to jail or anything stupid like that. But it's nothing I can talk about just yet. It's not a big deal. It's nothing bad, but it's nothing really great. Who cares? No point. No point in even going into it. I can't talk about it, so I won't. But I have flights this week, so again, I'll be back on planes. But my flight leaves tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right. So here I am. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Lily's. So I've got, 14 hours before I'm flying. I'm taxiing up in the air before liftoff. Well, I have some clothes at the dry cleaners, and I need those for my trip. But they won't be done until 4:30 this afternoon, and the cleaners is only open until 6. So that leaves me a 90-minute window to go and grab those clothes. Now, I'm here chatting with you folks. I'm in a room full of my internet chums. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it there by 4:30 or certainly even by 5:30 or maybe even 6 because traffic and everything else. Even if I blow this show out super quick, maybe that's why I'm talking so quickly in the beginning because I'm trying to get it over that much faster. But even if I do the show that fast, I don't think I'm going to get there. So I asked my wife, you know her, Karen, you remember her. I love my wife. I said to her, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you pick up my dry cleaning tomorrow? First of all, here's how first of all, look, if you're married, you know you have to ask 9 questions to get to the one question that you want to ask. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's going on tomorrow? She's like, well, I'm working. And I go, oh, you're working. Do you do anything after work? No, I'm not. Oh, okay. What time do you leave work? It's just that fucking sniffing around bullshit when you know, and normally, because let's put it this way. Normally I don't do that. Normally I just act like she's my personal secretary and I go, oh, by the way, you have to pick up my dry cleaning tomorrow. Here's the slip. Which was great when she wasn't working because, I mean, I was sleeping during the day. So in the daytime, she would run around and do whatever errands needed to be done and go pick up stuff. That was great. So I got used to that. I got used to telling her, you know, hey, please do this. And she would do it. Well, now she's working. So it's harder to get her to commit to stuff. And she's also doing this night gig sometimes. And I never know when that's scheduled. It pops up kind of out of the blue. So I asked her yesterday, like I said, I asked her 40 questions just to see if she could pick up my dry cleaning. And so I said, hey, look, it's going to be ready at 4:30. I'm probably going to be podcasting. And I prepaid. I already paid for it. All you got to do is go pick it up. And it's not far. It's a mile from my house. So yesterday she's like, yeah, I can do that. I said, are you sure? Here's why. I need these for my trip. All right. It's shirts that I absolutely need to bring on my trip. And she's like, yeah, I can take care of it. And I said, are you sure you can do that? Because I'll tell you what, nothing makes someone happier than when they say they'll do something for you and you ask them 9 times if they're sure. Yes, she said she would do it. But here's the thing. If she doesn't do it, then I can't do it. And I don't have my shirts for the trip. And then I'm shirtless. And then I'm just, oh, that's going to be terrible. Believe me, no one wants to see me walking around saying shirt. Well, I mean, I'll have T-shirts. But for what I need overshirts. It's a long story. So my overshirts that I would bring are in They're in clothes jail. So I'm like, dude, can you go get them? She's like, yes. And I said, are you sure? She goes, yes, I will get them. I said, all right. I go, if you can't, that's not a problem. You just need to tell me so I can double over and grab them. She's like, no, I can get them. I said, are you sure? And to the point where now she's probably just going to set my fucking clothes on fire. She's like, enough. Yes, I'll fucking do it. But she was just like, yes. I said, all right, fine. So she got up this morning. She went to work. I got up. I had to do a thing today. I'm running errands. I got here to hang out with Lily, ate a falafel sandwich, and I texted my wife and I said, hey, this was at 2:30. I said, hey, I just need to confirm that you're picking up the stuff today from the dry cleaner. Because if you're not, that's fine. I will go get it. I just need to know. Okay? Thanks. And she didn't text me back. And so then I called her. And she's at work. Again, she's at work, so she can't take the call. I understand that. But you know what? Let me ask you this. How much effort does it take you to type back the word yes? Can you explain that to me? Especially when she's tweeting Donnie fucking Wahlberg from her desk at work, when you're answering his tweets and you're talking to all your fine friends on fucking Twitter. Good for you. Are you picking up Donnie Wahlberg's dry cleaning? I don't fucking think you are. I think you're going to pick up mine. Actually, if Donnie Wahlberg asked you to pick up his dry cleaning, you'd fucking do it immediately. And I'm sure you'd answer his text promptly. So she's tweeting him and she's talking. She's having fun with John Cusack and whoever else her friends are on Twitter. And she talks to them and good for her. But fucking tell me yes or no, because I don't fucking care. Just tell me. So I sent that and then I called her and I left a message. I said, listen, I'm not trying to bother you. I know you're working. I know you got stuff going on. But do me a favor. Just let me know if you can or can't pick the stuff up. Because if you can't, I need to leave the podcast in the middle of recording and double over back to the valley and grab my shirts and then come back here and finish recording. So I just kind of need you to tell me yes or no. That's all I need to know. And she didn't call me back. Now, again, I got here at 2:30 with my lunch. And I said, I'm going to need a sandwich and then we'll start recording. But it's now 4 because I've been putting off recording because I've been waiting to hear back for sure from Karen what she's going to do. Because part of me went, well, if she's not going to get them, then why start the fucking show when I'll have to just stop down in the middle of it and have to go back and get my own stuff and bring it back? So I was like, I don't want to get involved in that. That's fine. So I'm sitting here. And then finally I went, you know what? Fuck this. I'm wasting time. It's just crazy. I need to just start recording. So before I started recording, I sent another text and I said, look, double checking that you're going to be able to pick up this stuff. I just need you to confirm yes or no. That's all I need to know. If you're going to get it, great. If you're not, that's fine. I need to know to go get it. And I even threw this in there, folks. This is what I said, because if you're unable to get them, I'm going to need you to ship these shirts to where I am because it's that kind of desperate that I need them. I can't travel without them. So you will have to ship them to my destination. And I have not heard. I haven't fucking heard. And right now, hold on. You can hear me opening my bag. I'm going to pull out my phone and see if I've got a text confirming anything. No, I don't. What a surprise. What a shock. No fucking phone call. No text. And right now, my clothes are sitting there in clothes jail waiting to be sprung. And I've got nobody to fucking go there and do it. It's 4:15 now. If she fucking doesn't go by 4:30, 5 o'clock, then I'm going to have to leave here and go grab the stuff myself. And then when I talk to her, I'll go, hey, what was the point of not texting me the word yes or no? It's fucking 3 thumb taps or 2 thumb taps. That's all you had to fucking do. You didn't have to go, oh, yes, I'd love to do it, Michael, or fuck you, Michael, I don't want to bring it. I don't care. You know what? Because honestly, by not typing back yes or no, you're definitely saying, fuck you, Michael, I don't care about you, or whatever the fuck you want. And I get that. That's fine. If that's how you feel, no problem. But just fucking let me know so I'm not sitting here like a dumb fuck trying to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do with my clothes or my life. Because inconsiderate, it's just fucking, and look, she's working. She's totally busy. That is obviously explained by her tweeting with her fucking friends. God damn it, shut the fuck up. Shut up. I'm on thin ice with her anyway, as it is. Here's something my wife did that'll shock you. Maybe it won't. It shocked me, certainly. Well, no, it didn't. It's fine. Look, I love my wife. All right. But we were at fucking Walgreens. And the bottom line of this is my wife and I should never go to Walgreens, right? Isn't that? Because last time I was there, I rammed my car into a pole because of a fucking dispute over fucking money. It was just the stupidest thing in the world. We went to fucking Walgreens and And again, she didn't even. This wasn't even anything mean. She didn't mean anything bad by this. But look, I'm fat, so I buy candy bars. All right, I'm a fat dude, and I've climbed into a candy hole, and it's terrible. My life is officially awful. Fine, good for that. I admit it. So I buy them, and I go to check out, and I've had this happen before when I go by myself because they kind of know me there now because I'm a junkie who shows up and buys a candy bar at fucking 3 a.m. So they'll say stuff like, oh wow, just you're buying these candy bars. They're like, oh wow, you must really like these. And I go, yeah, I'm fat, got to stop eating them. Like that's what I'll say, because it's true. Bless you. It's totally true. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm fat. I should not be here at 3 a.m. buying a goddamn candy bar. And they're just making small talk because again, they recognize me. And what do you say to the fat guy you see fucking 3 or 4 times a week who's buying candy in the middle of the night? I know you'll get diabetes soon and you won't be in here to join me. Eventually you'll be dead and I won't see you in the middle of the night and I'll regret not making this small talk. But that's what I say to them. I mean, I'll just go, yeah, I'm fat. Yeah, I just got to stop. Because look, and I should tell you this, when I buy a candy bar, folks, I'm not buying, like, you think, when I say I'm buying a candy bar, you think, oh, Mike's buying a nice candy bar. No, here's what I buy, and this is, I swear to God, it's like, the people at the Hershey's company must do this to send a message, I think, in some way. There's a regular Hershey bar, which is totally like credit card thin. Okay. Then they have that big block Hershey bar. All right. Well, then they have something called the extra large Hershey bar, which is, it's like look, I'm going to pretend to lie here, but I know for a fact it's 4.4 ounces. Like literally, I was just going to go, it's something like no, bullshit. I know exactly how much it weighs. Because I'm fucking, I'm out of control. I'm out of fucking control, folks. It's terrible. So it's 4 point, because I won't eat meals. Like I told you I was eating candy and rye toast. That's all I've been eating. But I'll mix in the occasional falafel sandwich, which I did today. Because falafel's a vegetable, I think. There's some sort of vegetable inside of it. No, but then I'll eat a big fucking like salad, like a huge salad with beets. And I'm not going to die yet. All right. I'm still fighting it off, but still, I'm still doing terrible things. So there's this extra large candy bar and it's like 4.4 ounces. Now that was something when I was a little kid, I used to buy that and it felt like freedom to buy that. I know this sounds weird and it's going to sound terrible, whatever the fuck. As a kid, because I was fat and, I was always told what to do. Like our mom, Iron Fist. Well, my mom was Iron Fist, by the way, from the comic books. Luke Cage, Power Man would come over. He'd fucking take my candy bars. It infuriated me. But my mom looked good in a fucking yellow bandana on her head. All right. So, I would go on Saturday afternoons. All right. We would get up in the morning on Saturday and we'd finish our chores. And then I would go to 7-Eleven. And you would have to look for the extra large Hershey bar because they would have regular Hershey bars, and then they had this extra large bar, which is on another shelf. It was like on a completely different, like some fat guy section of White Hen. So I would go in and I would buy an extra large candy bar, and I would have ice cold milk, and I would watch This Week in Baseball and then the Saturday afternoon baseball game, and it felt like I was grown up and I could kind of do whatever I wanted, and so that's what I would do. And again, literally, that was my choice of what to do when I was 13. Hey, you can do whatever you want. Really, I'm going to get an extra large candy bar, and I'm going to get ice cold milk and watch a baseball game. And honestly, I will not lie. 32 years later, still my idea of perfection of an afternoon. If the Phillies were on, I would go get an extra large candy bar and ice cold. Well, I don't drink milk anymore. Ice cold water. Oh my God, chocolate and water. Oh, dudes. Yeah, no, chocolate and ice cold water is fantastic. So I would get these extra large candy. So they have those. Like I said, they have the credit card thin Hershey bar. Then they have the big block Hershey bar. Then they have the extra large bar. Well, now Hershey's has decided extra large bars are not enough. So they've created something called, and this is the thing that makes me laugh, is it says right on the label, it's a regular Hershey bar, but it's just, a bigger label. And then in the corner, it just says giant. It is a giant Hershey bar, and it is 7 ounces of chocolate. The regular Hershey bars, all right, like a regular credit card thin Hershey bar, is like 1.2 ounces. So this is essentially 6 Hershey bars. Yeah. 5 or 6, a little over 5. So that's what I buy now. Because I'm a grown man. I'm an adult. When I was a child, I would eat the extra large candy bar. That's not for me anymore, folks. This is how fucked up my head is. Now I'm like, well, fuck. I'm older. I'm worth it. I can go ahead and get the giant candy bar. And you know what else is funny about that is again, you know me and you know my candy sorting days and math and numbers and colors and all that bullshit. Well, I stopped doing that at Trader Joe's. I was like, oh, I can't do that anymore. But now I've transferred it to the Hershey bars, and here's how. Because I will go in and I have to have the latest date Hershey bar. Like it says expires, like chocolate expires by a certain date. Like right now, I won't eat anything that expires in 2013. It has to be 2014, and I will go to like 3 different stores looking for it. That's how pathetic I am. And then if the giant bars expire, like, because the giant bars are all right. Look, they're a certain amount, they're $3. It's terrible. It's terrible. The giant bars are $3, but then they'll have a sale, like sometimes on the extra large bars, where it's like 3 bars for $4. So then I'm like doing the ounces in my head, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the like balance it out. And so sometimes I'll buy like 4 extra large bars instead of 2, and I'm like, because then that's fucking 17 ounces instead of 14 ounces, but the 7 ounces is thicker, and so it has a better mouthfeel than the fucking extra large bar. I'm a fucking scary dude, folks. I am a scary person because I honestly think of those things, and it's like, because the extra large bar is a better deal for chocolate per ounce, but the giant bar is a little thicker, so I enjoy it more. It's like, it feels like you're eating more even though there's not more. That thing where you trick yourself. Like, you ever think that 9 is bigger than 2? I apologize. 19 is bigger than 21. Have you ever seen that? Like, because sometimes a 19 looks bigger than a 21, even though it's not. But the 9 looks bigger than the 2 and the 1 combined. So you're like, oh, well, fuck, that's obviously a bigger number. You're goddamn right it makes sense. I'm Captain Curb Stomp of math. I've told you that. You think I'm trying to pull the shell game on you? I'm trying to bamboozle you? Fuck no. I'm right. 19 is bigger than 21 sometimes. I learned that when I dragged Tim Hart outside and I curb stomped him and it flew out of his mouth. That's how I got most of my math knowledge, from curb stomping my fucking classmates. So doing all the fucking chocolate math, I'm just sitting there and and again, it's 3 a.m. I'll walk in and you start doing that. Well, all right. God damn it. I shouldn't even tell you this. This is terrible. Like, I always talk about you hit rock bottom or you do shit. Like, I talked about when I was sorting all the candy, and then I told people about the orange ones, and then someone's like, well, do you have those? Let's see a picture. So I put it on my Facebook once, a picture of all the orange ones from my cabinet. And people were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, yes, exactly. Because it was a pillowcase full of fucking orange candy that I didn't eat. So here's what I did once, because I'm a fucking genius. I'm trying to remember what city it was that I went to. I was traveling out of town. So I actually started bringing chocolate with me because I knew I would be in the hotel and I didn't want to go searching for like a Walgreens or somewhere to find candy because you know why? Because I gave up going to strip clubs. That's why. So it's like, if I don't go out to a strip club, then I'm like, well, fuck, I need to have a bunch of candy in my room to make sure I sit there and do nothing. It's just, it tethers me in. It's you know what it is? It's like, it's internal vice. External vice is all strippers and shit like that, but internal vice is like, yes, I'll sate myself with a giant candy bar and not leave my fucking room. Oh my God. It keeps me from doing shit I shouldn't do. It's like the methadone to my fucking strippers' heroin. Strippers are heroin, but candy's just methadone. So, because I can't, I'm an uncontrollable person, I guess. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But I mean, you know what? I've gone months with giving it up and not even thinking about it. And then all of a sudden it just fucking avalanches on top of me. And I'll eat a candy bar, a giant candy bar every day. Like that's my dinner, like that. And then rye toast in the middle of the night. God damn it. The thing is, I shouldn't stay up all night because that's when I wind up doing this kind of stupid shit. I'll be awake at the computer and I will get, I told you this story before. When I used to work in a pizza place, I would drink probably 30 large Cokes. I just kept refilling my soda and drinking it, refilling my soda over a 6-hour, 8-hour shift. That adds up to the point where on my days off, I would shake. My hands would shake until I got Coke, until I got soda and did that. So, and then I drink a 12-pack at my house. Well, the thing is with the same thing, it happens with candy bars sometimes where I'll be sitting at the computer and I'll get this weird, it's almost like a sugar dump. It's not a sugar rush. It just feels like everything goes out of me. And I can't believe I'm not ravaged by diabetes yet. I mean, I've talked about how I'm only going to live to be 54. Well, seriously, I talk about I'm going to be dead when I'm 54, and now I'm 45, and I've just eaten nothing but candy for 2 years. I mean, it's almost like this dare. Like I'm daring chocolate to draw a line in the chocolate sand and come after me. And it's like, fuck you, chocolate. I will defeat you. And chocolate doesn't, you know what? And that's the tricky thing about chocolate is I'm fighting chocolate and I'm winning every fight because at the end of the fight, he's gone. I won. I ate him. But he's doing his damage internally. Chocolate fights you from within. That's what he wants. He entices you into the battle and then you wind up eating him. And then he continues the battle on the inside when you think you've won. You have not won. You have lost. And right now, my heart is covered in a thin candy shell and there's nothing I can do about it. Right now, in my colon, those M&Ms live there. Those the dudes who look like M&Ms, those like actual living M&Ms, they're in my colon right now. So here's I'll tell you this. This is, and I will say I'll tell you that I'll say this is rock bottom, but it's not really because I've continued to buy candy after it. But it was the moment where I actually went, "What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?" I went to buy candy bars for a trip. It was like a 4-day. Where was I? It was like a 4 or 5 day. I was out of town somewhere for like 4 or 5 days, and I shouldn't even fucking say this. Whatever. Who cares? So the giant candy bar is 7 ounces. So I went to the store. I went to a couple stores. They were out of them, but Walgreens had a sale on the big block candy bars. The square. You know, they're not. There's the credit card thin and there's the big block. And those are like 2.6 ounces. So in my head, I go, well, 3 of those equal just about a little over 1 of the giant bars. And I'm going to be gone for 4 days. So I would usually eat 2 of those. So that would be 8 of those times 3. I bought 24 candy bars. 24 2.6 ounce candy bars because you know why? Not even because I wanted to eat them, but just in my head the numbers equaled what I was supposed to get. The numbers equaled the fucking the foolish shit I had been doing up to that point. So in the math, I went, well, this works out to get 24, and I actually started scooping them up, like scooping up 20. I looked like I was on supermarket sweep for fuck's sake, where I was going to grab an inflatable unicorn and 24 candy bars and win something. It was just fucking ridiculous. So then I scooped up these 24 candy bars, and I should have kept them in the actual box that they came in because what the fuck? I cleaned out most of the box, and I scooped up the 24, and I brought them to the counter, and I had 15 steps to reconsider from the candy to the fucking counter. I'm carrying 24 candy bars like they were my child. Like I'm cradling them. It's not even like in my hands. I'm holding them in my arms as if I was looting the store of chocolate. And I'm fucking scooping it up and I'm grabbing them all and I get them and I get 24. And then, because I have such ridiculous OCD, ADD bullshit, I make myself count them again. Like, you know, I get them all in my hands and I'm counting them by eye and I'm separating them into packets because there's 24 of them. And so I have to separate them in 4 packs of 6. So I'm making sure that that's the way and I stack them neatly and they're like wood. Because I'm very about neatness. And then I walked over to buy them and I like... The counter guy, I can't believe that the Walgreens people haven't formed together to have an intervention with me at this point. Because they are so horrified and they're friendly. There's this girl, Fatima, who works there. She's really nice. This guy, Jay, who works in the middle of the night. They're all very cool. And whenever they see me, they're just like, oh, chocolate, huh? And I'm like, yes, chocolate, I'm fat. You know I'm fat. There's no reason to have small talk with me. Unless you're going to go, wow, you're fat. And I would agree with you because I've told you that every goddamn time I'm here. So I would bring them to the counter and I would buy them. And so I bring the 24 over and this dude, and this should tell you how far gone it is. All right. This will tell you just how far gone it is. I bring 24 candy bars over. Dude doesn't blink. Doesn't blink. Hey, what's happening? Just starts ringing them up. Puts them in 9 bags. And then I take them and I pack. And or here's the thing. I was going to take them on the trip. Okay. But I was bringing a carry-on bag. So I've got to stuff them in the carry-on bag, which is fine. I don't want to carry them, with me in my computer bag. But either way, everything's going to go through the x-ray machine. So they x-ray the bag and they stop me. And they're just like, hold on a second. What's in your bag? And I go, nothing. It's just clothes and my shaving kit. They go, They go, well, you have a bunch of cylinders or something like there was not a bunch of, he goes, there's cylindrical objects in your bag. And I said, I don't know what that is. So they take my bag aside, they fucking pull it apart, and they pull out a giant bag of candy bars. And like I could not have been more fat in my entire life. If they had said, take off your shirt right now and be fat for everybody, that would have been fine, because you couldn't have done any more than open it up and pull out the triple bagged Walgreens 24 Hershey bars out of my fucking luggage, which I'm carrying on. So now it looks like I'm just going to sit there and have a chocolate orgy in 17F. And just be sticky and brown by the end of the fucking flight. I mean, it's just fucking crazy. So they look at me with this face like, okay. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to see my nieces and nephews, and I always like to surprise them. It's like a thing where you pass out dollars and you pass out candy. Like, I had to make up a story for why my fat fucking ass was bringing 24 candy bars on a flight. And again, should have been rock bottom. In my head, it's rock bottom. Has not stopped me from buying candy bars. It has not stopped me. So my point is, whenever I buy them, they'll go, oh, candy, or oh, chocolate. And I go, yeah, I'm fat. Like, literally, because I figure if I beat them to the punch, because that's what they're thinking anyway, because they see me every night and I bring candy in because I'm the fucking fattest man alive. And it's so funny. Part of me wants to explain, well, no, I don't eat anything else. Is that okay? It's not like I'm shoveling, in pizzas and then I come here in the middle of the night for candy. No, I eat 2 pieces of rye toast and maybe some chicken for dinner, and then I come here and get a candy bar for the middle of the night. That's okay, right? No, it's not okay, you dumb fuck. Stop eating chocolate bars, you fucking idiot. And it's so weird. Like, I stopped eating the fucking the other one, the aquarium rocks, the fucking crazy fruit medley. I was able to bail on that, and then all of a sudden I got sucked into a Hershey zone. My head's all fucked up. So Karen goes with me to Walgreens, and I bring the candy bars to the counter, and I go to buy, and the guy rings me up, and he goes, oh yeah, chocolate bars, huh? And I go, yeah. I said, I'm fat. And he goes, no. And he goes, I love these. He goes, but these are the biggest ones. And Karen goes, yeah, when he takes them home, he makes s'mores. He makes s'mores with them, and it's easier to break it up, and it's like a thicker piece. And I go, she says this in front of 2 cashiers and people in the line. And I look at her and I go, why would you say that? And she goes, what do you mean? And I go, I don't make fucking s'mores. I eat these. That's all I do is I eat these candy bars. You don't have to make an excuse for me. I come in here every day. They see me buy them. And she started laughing, but only nervous laughter because I was busting her in front of everybody, because she thought that she was doing me a favor by covering for my fat ass. And it's like, no, I'm fat. I just am. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I am. And until I fix it, there's no reason to fucking duck it. But she tried to make an excuse for me. And it was like she was Debbie Reynolds in Mother. You know what I mean? Where if you've ever seen that movie, there's a great scene where Albert Brooks is doing something and Debbie Reynolds keeps shoehorning her opinion in. And finally he's just like, what are you doing? Why is this happening? And so I just said to her, I go, why would you do that? And I look at the guy, I go, I don't make s'mores. I eat these fucking things. I eat them every night. I come here and buy them all the time. Ask Fatima and ask Jay. They're here when I buy them. And Karen was like, I mean, I guess mortified, but at the same time, she kind of laughed it off. But she thought she was doing me a favor. And it was like, no, man, you don't need to do me a favor. If I want to do me a favor, I'll stop buying fucking giant candy bars. It's not going to do me any good to lie about it to anybody. I mean, what am I going to try? I'm going to tell a secret. But then again, you think back, you know what? At the airport, what did I do? I fucking made up a lie. I didn't look around and go, yeah, 24 candy bars, motherfuckers. That's what I eat. Because that would have been fucking horrendous. But they all knew anyway. Fat guy going through fucking security and then they have 24 candy bars to look at. Of course they knew that. They had to think either that or I was a junkie trying to kick, honestly. And every time I'd go to fucking shoot up, instead I'd jam a fucking Hershey bar in my face. And believe me, there's no getting around the choice. I mean, the choice, that's clearly the candy of my childhood. There's a choice here. There's something wrong with my head that I went right to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel like a kid. It makes me feel young or loved. Or I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm able to bury myself in it and submerge myself in it and think of when times were simpler. I have no clue. But I know I gravitate right fucking to it. And part of me loves the fact that Karen made up that excuse. Honestly, like I might have busted her in front of those people, but the fact that on her feet she pulled out s'mores, like what a weird direction to go with that. Just, yeah, we make s'mores at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night in our apartment. That's how we do it. You might as well just say, you know what, we're going to go kill Bigfoot because it's just as fucking rational, and it's just about the same as relevant as us making s'mores at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. Yeah, we're going out to the woods and we're going to tell ghost stories, and then we're going to go ahead and find an owl and kill it. I mean, what the fuck? But good for her. Thank you for trying to protect me from myself, I guess. But the only one who can do that is me. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to check my phone, and I'm going to see. And it is 4:38. And no text. 4:39 now. Still no text. Because this is great. I love my wife, folks. I'm going to have to leave, probably. Not yet. You know what? They close at 6. If I leave here at 5, I should be okay. And then I'll have shirts. I just type no. Type the word no. That's all you got to type. Or type the word yes. I understand no's easier. One less thumb tap. I get that. Unless you're going to type nope. And that would show that you were putting a serious effort into telling me no. So yeah, I need shirts. I don't want to have to ship shirts. I've had to do that in the past. Did I tell that story on here? I don't know if I did. I've told stories about being on the road, and I get confused. Folks, if I've told this story, I apologize. Go back to listen to me talking about 47 chocolate bars. I probably lost you at that point anyway. He bought 24 chocolate bars. This guy with no job. Click. You'll be happy to know when I had a job when I bought the 24 candy bars. So please know. I wouldn't make that kind of rash decision now. Actually, I'd break open my IRA just to get some chocolate. Sadly, probably would. I don't have an IRA. Actually, I would hire the IRA to get me some chocolate. I would hire the Irish Republican Army to storm a Walgreens. Hey, boyo, put all the chocolate in a bag. Oh my God. It's worth it to me. I wonder how much they'd take. What are they doing these days, right? All right. I did this podcast. It's funny because I just did a horrible non-Irish accent when I was like, "Hey, boyo." I can't even in my head I can't conjure an Irish accent at this point. That lilt, that Colin Farrell lilt, you know what I mean when he's talking. But I sound like Paul McCartney or something. I gotta stop. I can't do any accents. You know what? It was funny. I did the positively probably science podcast yesterday, and it was Andy Wood, who's American, and then me, who's from America as well, and then Wendy Wason, who is Scottish, and every bit the Scot in her voice, and then Matt Kirshen is the co-host, and he's English. So it was just this garblethon of like people trying to talk, and the thing is, they spoke better English than me, Wendy and Matt, because then I'd talk and I barely opened my mouth half the way, and I'm sure that nobody understood me because they're paying close attention to what the Englishman and the Scottish woman are saying. So I actually found myself listening intently to make sure that I heard what they said and I heard it properly. So then there'll be long stretches where I'm not talking because I'm just trying to figure out what's being said. And it's not like you can't understand them, but I did not want to make a mistake and have them say something that was everybody else understood, and I jumped on it and then I was wrong, and then I get some Scottish curse put on me. Which probably wouldn't happen because Wendy was very nice. How rude would that be? And why did I think Scottish people go with a curse? You know what? I'm hiring the IRA to attack the Scots so they don't curse me. It's a good plan. Nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense at all. Hey, look, these shows are just recorded between chocolate sessions. Honestly, I think we all know that. This is the only thing that breaks up the chocolate sessions. I should just melt it and put it in the tub and just fucking and sit in it with a straw. And then it'll taste like, you know what? Because that's all I really want. It'll taste like chocolate and taste like me. It'll be the essence of me and chocolate. Maybe that's all I want. All right. Boy, how many chocolate bars would I had to melt to fill my bathtub? I got to get rich. Make me rich and I'll make it happen, folks. I'll let you know. I would hire some dudes, like some fucking crazy chef dudes to make like you ever see when they boil someone in oil, or when the witches make like a brew and they have a cauldron and they throw like a person in it? I would make a cauldron full of chocolate and sit in it like a fondue pot. Oh man, it's awesome. Like a giant human being fondue pot, and just dip myself in it. Jesus Christ. I can't tell you how excited I am for this. That's the only reason to make money is to do stupid shit like that. Nobody wants to go to charity or save kids. Fuck all that. I want a huge human-sized cauldron fondue pot that I can sit in fucking Hershey's chocolate. Not even the good chocolate. I know all of you out there are like being nitpicky and be like, well, you can get cacao at 91%. Fuck all that. I want garbage chocolate. I had that argument one time with Danielle Koenig. Not even an argument, but a discussion. Maybe an anecdote. Maybe it was just, she probably doesn't remember it. Who cares? But she was talking about how she couldn't eat bad chocolate like Nestle's and Hershey's. And I'm like, that's all I can eat. Because she was, her father, their family was a little more, obviously more well off than mine. And if she were to get chocolate, it would be, I guess, fancier. And she didn't eat a lot of chocolate. Danielle weighs 5 pounds. But it came up in a discussion somehow. She's like, oh, I can't eat that stuff. It's garbage. And she couldn't eat Hershey's chocolate. And I'm like, are you joking? I would stick my dick in Hershey's chocolate. I mean, that's how fucking good it is. And then eat the chocolate afterwards. That's how good it is. So that's what I need I need a gigantic human-sized fondue pot to fucking roast in with some Hershey's. Because that'd melt up good, right? I mean, I usually make s'mores every Thursday. I'll have to check the temperature. You guys know how I work that. That's what I do is I do the podcast on Wednesday and then I download it on Thursday. And every Thursday night, I listen to it and I make s'mores. Where was I going before I started steaming myself in a giant-sized fondue pot? That was awesome. Because I can't get away from that. How great would that be? Just, again, if you're rich, just do stupid shit like that. Like make Uncle Buck-sized pancakes with a snow shovel. Yes. You don't have to eat them. Just make them so you have them and then take a picture of them and throw them away. Because you're rich. You don't have to worry about that shit. God damn it, if I was rich, I would take so much advantage of being rich. Whenever I read about those dudes who win the lottery and they're like, oh, I'm going to keep my job. Or those dudes, get fucking bombed, you're going to keep your job. Are you shitting me? You should fucking buy that company and fire everybody but yourself. That's the only way you keep that job. The only way you keep that job is if you buy the company, you fire everyone except you. And then you just fucking like ride a skateboard through your factory. Like fucking Milhouse and Bart Simpson. God damn it, that's awesome. I want to be rich just to fucking do the most ludicrous shit and have people be angry about it and be like, well, I can't believe you're wasting your money. I go, I don't have any kids. The fuck do I care? It's I have so many great ideas for being rich and they will never be executed until someone who listens to this show gets rich and then fucking bites my style. 1985 style, apparently. You guys are biters. That's what haters are now. Were just biters in the past. All right. I was telling a story or mentioning something. Actually, I was thinking about leaving because I have to leave. Hold on. Let me check my phone. Let's take a look here, folks. Let's take a look. No text. All right. That's just fine. I'm going to have to leave. You know what? Can we take this in the car? Can we record like a remote on the way to go do that? No, why not?
I don't have power for all the audio equipment.
Audio equipment? What do we have? A laptop and a microphone.
It goes through the mixer and the compressors and all of the stuff that's over here.
Oh, all right. Well, I didn't know what that stuff was. You say it like I'm supposed to know. No, I thought I did. I thought I talked it in the laptop.
No, you talk through a bunch of different machines and then it comes over into the laptop.
So what you're saying is maybe my voice isn't so good. Maybe it's the work of the compressors and the audio guy who lives in your computer or whatever you just said it was.
Yes, that's what it is. It's all that.
Yeah, because maybe I don't really sound like this, folks. Maybe I sound like something completely different. Maybe.
Did you have all my stuff with you when you were being complimented on your travels?
I usually bring a Lily converter and I put it on my microphone. It's like a flange. A Lily podcast converter. I put it right on the microphone and then I talk and then it sounds just like I do on the podcast. Because I don't want to throw anybody off with my other voice. My voice is wee. I have a tiny little high-pitched voice. I sound like a helium dude. But luckily I have this other equipment here to kind of make me palatable to you guys. Actually, you know what? I have a heavy Scottish accent. You wouldn't know it, but we're able to bring it in and put it through the compressor and the anti-Scotsman machine and it goes right through. What's that called? The McGillicuddy? The anti-Scotsman machine? Christ, where were we before I took a chocolate bath? Oh my God, a chocolate bath. You know what I would do? I would have a shower that shot chocolate out. Fuck sitting in a cauldron. I would have a chocolate rainforest shower. You know who? I'm just Augustus Gloop. That's who I am. Yeah. Willy Wonka, if he existed, I would fucking sneak into his house and live there. I would put orange on my face and be an Oompa Loompa. How great would it be? But he'd have to make Hershey's chocolate. Have you ever had Wonka chocolate? It's fucking nasty. Terrible. Seriously, they make Wonka chocolate now. They made Wonka chocolate when I was a kid. I remember it and I didn't like it because it didn't taste like what? Hershey's, yes. And I know you're out there, you're like, what about Reese's cups? Yes, of course, Reese's cups are amazing, but you can't sit there and eat those all night long because inevitably you'll pass out because there's something about those that are way too sugary. Like Hershey bars have like, obviously sugar because it's chocolate, but the bonus of having chocolate with that with peanut butter, boy, that'll fucking send you into a sugar shock immediately. Trust it. Take it from a guy who's eating like 10 or 15 of those a night. If there was some I'm the Kobayashi of candy. That's what I would be. If there was some sort of eating contest just for candy, I would fucking clean house.
Oh my god.
I was telling some story. God damn it. You're sad. You just want me out of here.
I knew you had crazy. I had no idea.
Oh, but you knew that. Come on, I'm an idiot. But I got to shake it. But then when I shake it, it's so great because, like I said, if I don't eat candy for like a month, I remember that time I lost 24 pounds in a month because I stopped eating candy. And I substitute. I can't even talk. Take that out. Never mind. Leave it in. People need to hear that part. Yeah, I can't even talk. I'm skipping. That's how fucking fried I am right now. My head is skipping. I went to say substitute, but then I went sup. That was fucking crazy. All right.
Oh my god.
You're killing me in your new pants. Come on, your pants are awesome. All right, so she goes, all right, I'll tell you this. I came in and Lily, she's wearing clothes today, which is always a drag. But then she's doing something in the kitchen. She bends over and I see her pants, and I they are not pants that I've seen before. They're jeans, and they have like those big pockets on the back. And like they're high waisted. I mean, it's like all of a sudden Lily was like, "I'm gonna dress like a nerd," like out of the blue. She went, "I'm gonna be a hot nerd today, but without the hot part." So she bent over and she's doing some stuff, and I took a look and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" And this is an hour ago, and then she sits down and she says, "Hey, you like my new mom jeans?" And I laughed, and she looked at me, and I go, "Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything." And she's like, "What?" And I go, actually, I noticed, and that's exactly what in my head, I was like, nice mom jeans on Lily. I mean, I swear to God. And she's like, yeah, I hate them. She goes, but I was trying on jeans, and I got tired of it, and I went, oh, I'll take these, and just left.
That's exactly what I did.
And I'm like, well, that's nice. I wish, you know what? I do that with chocolate bars, actually. I walk in, I'm like, I'm tired of this. Give me all 24 of these. I can't decide. And then I'm going to have to buy mom jeans to fit in.
Oh my god.
I swear to God, we were going somewhere. We went somewhere, and then I took a chocolate bath.
I have no clue.
Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Let me check this out now. Let's see if there's a text. A text.
A text.
Let's hear my progressive crazy and see how she answered me. Okay. Here's what I wrote. Can you confirm you will pick up my shirts today? If you can't, I need to know so I can leave the podcast and get them. I absolutely need them for my trip, so please let me know one way or another. Thanks. And then I called her, and then an hour later, double checking on this. Not trying to be a pest, but need to know if you can do this. Seriously, if we don't do this, I'm going to have to ship them. Oh, that's what I was talking about, shipping shirts. I'm going to have to ship them. Thanks. And so thankfully, an hour later, she wrote, yes, I am. And then she wrote, did you get it? Which, now hold on. Does that mean, did I get the clothes yet? And she doesn't have to go? Or is that her going, yes, I'm getting that. Did you get that?
You should just respond with confirmed, thank you, so she knows you got the text.
No.
You're a dick.
No, I don't have to respond. It's presumed.
God. No, it's not.
It's
Or you
presumed.
would have known she was picking them up.
She's getting them.
Oh my god.
I'm sure it's fine. Everything's good. Everything's square. Look, we already just admitted that I'm crazy. I've called. I've texted a few times. I've double checked and triple checked.
And now you should be respectful and say thank you.
She knows.
Oh my god. You're going to divorce court, man. No.
She knows.
Oh my god.
All right. So that's a crapshoot. We'll see. I hope I know my. Well, they'll be there. Of course they will. She's quite responsible. She's a lovely person. So I'm sure she's grabbing them and they'll be there waiting to be packed. All right, good. So Oh, shipping shirts. So I'll tell you that story. It's not even a story. It's just something that happened. I have to stop saying I'll tell you that story when it's just something that happened. I was on the road doing comedy, and I've told this story before. I used to do this thing called the Rushmore Comedy Tour, and I wound up. This is where I wound up. My car broke down, and then I wound up living in a hotel in Sioux Falls, and they would send me all over the place to do different gigs. And then he wound up sending me to Fargo, and I had to be hustled out of there under the cover of night and all sorts of things. Well, eventually, when I was heading back to California, I was in Bemidji, Minnesota, and there were some comics who were going to be coming to Bemidji, and one of them was from Sacramento, and he was going to take me back to California. And I think I may have mixed up my previous story because these guys came to get me in Fargo, and then they took me out and they took me back to Minneapolis, and then I wound up having to go back and do some more gigs for Jeff. This is what I told when I told the story before. Well, then when it turned out I was finally going to get home, I was going to get to California, and it turned out we were going to be stopping in Tahoe. I was very excited. So there was this comic named Keith, and he was going to be going towards Sacramento, and he's like, hey, I can give you a ride back to California if you want. So I figured I could get to Tahoe and then take a bus or something back to LA if I had to, unless he wanted to wait a couple of days and I could have gone with him, whatever. So I was going to be in Bemidji, Minnesota. Well, initially I was in South Dakota, and they got me to Bemidji, Minnesota, and then I worked 2 nights in Bemidji. And then I was going to get picked up by Keith, and then we were going to go and travel overnight to California. So it was extremely nice of this guy because, again, I didn't know him. He's a road comic who's going to take me back to California just because he's on his way there. And he doesn't know who the fuck I am at all. And Jeff, the guy who ran the comedy tour, the Rushmore Comedy Tour, was a fucking jagoff. And he would have a way of manipulating people into doing the things that he wanted. Well, somehow he manipulated Keith into taking me home, so I didn't mind having Jeff's dark powers working for me for once instead of against me. So I go to Bemidji, I do my sets, and I knew we were going to be driving overnight. So after I finish my shows, I'm there a second day. Now, there was no show, but Jeff made them keep me in the room. Okay? No, bullshit. That's not what happened at all. I didn't perform in Bemidji. I performed in South Dakota, and then I caught a ride with the comic who was working the next night in Bemidji, and they were going to get me a room, but I didn't have to perform because I slept all day. That's exactly what happened. All right, folks, stick with me. We're learning about my past together. That's what we're doing. We're piecing together my past. I feel like I'm like an amnesia victim who was in a car accident, and I'm laying in the hospital bed, and you guys are all cops laying around me and go, what do you remember from the situation? Hold on. I remember that I was in Bemidji, Minnesota. Duh, backtrack. Absolutely, that did not happen. Nobody's ever been to Bemidji, Minnesota, except for C. Buscemi and Peter Stormare when they banged those 2 girls and they drove past the fucking Paul Bunyan statue. Because, by the way, if you saw Fargo and you saw the Paul Bunyan statue with the Babe the Blue Ox statue, that's Bemidji, Minnesota. I watched Fargo. I'm like, I did comedy in all of these towns and drove in all of these conditions. And I actually was heckled by Shep Proudfoot. But I don't vouch for him. So I was just there killing time while they did their show. And they were like, hey, you want to do a guest set? Fuck no. I want to go back to California. I'm tired of being in South Dakota. I'm tired of being in Minnesota. All these fucking places. Get me out of this godforsaken section of the country. And by the way, when I did the Probably Science podcast yesterday, Matt Kirshen from England, he was talking about bad drivers. And he said that drivers were worse in the Midwest. He was like, yeah, people in the Midwest are just terrible people, like terrible drivers. And I was waiting for him to stop talking, so I just go, I'm from Chicago, Matt. But he never stopped talking, and then somebody else jumped in, because that's the thing with 4 people talking. You're sitting, I'm biding my time waiting to go, hey, dude, I'm from Chicago. I'm right here. But I never got a chance to say that to young Matt, because Matt was talking, and then the Scottish person talked, Wendy, and then they had an English-Scottish talk, and I sat there intensely concentrating on what it was that they were saying. Because maybe, honestly, with his English accent, maybe he was saying something good about the Midwest, and I just couldn't parse it because I don't have a Cockney ear. Do I, mate? All right. Is that what they say, mate, there, right? Or is it mates Australia?
Mates Australia.
Well, but don't they? No, they'll say me and my mate. They'll say that in Cockney World. In Cockney World, you know where that is? That's a suburb of London. Cockney World, where they film all of the Cockney stuff. As a matter of fact, I was sleeping in Cockney World when they woke me to go to Bemidji to meet Keith. So I was in Bemidji, and I did not want to do a guest set. It was like, get me the fuck out of here, and also because it was that meant I would have to MC. That was the thing, is they didn't want me to do a guest set. They were like, hey, will you MC the show for us so it's easier for us? Fuck no, I'm going to sleep. And it's so funny, the guy's offering to take me to fucking California, and I'm just like, nah. I'm not going to do you a favor. Get your show finished so we can get the fuck out of here. I'm going to eat some cream of wild rice soup and sleep for 12 hours. Because that is one thing. If you're in Minnesota, get wild rice soup. Cream of wild rice soup or regular just brothy wild rice soup. It's fucking delicious. Because that's where all the wild rice is in Minnesota. All of it. That's where it comes from. You got your tame rice. You got your domestic rice in all the other states and all the other countries. But you want wild rice, you got to go to Minnesota. And you know what? It's too wild for its own good. I was jumped by a gang of wild rice while I was there once. They pulled a ricey switchblade on me and took all my belongings. Furious. Left me on the side of the road in a fucking rice paddy ditch. Oh, my God. Thank God some domestic rice came to my rescue. I appreciate it. And it's so funny because then the wild rice, they jump you, they take your shit, and they're crazy. And it's not like you can call the cops because what are you going to go to a lineup? All the wild rice looks alike. Can't pick those dudes out. Plus, you're in their territory. You're on their turf. Wind up getting fucking stabbed. So I'm in there and I'm like, it's funny. It felt like such a luxury to eat soup and then just sleep all day, which is and now I sleep all the time in the daytime, so it's not that much of a luxury. But then, it was cool because it was a hotel. All right, here, let me put it this way, because I didn't want to hang out in the show. I didn't want to do anything because it was also, I didn't know Keith, but he was doing me a favor. But he was working with this comic named Howie, and Howie was like a nice dude. You're blowing your nose. Should I just keep talking through it? It's okay, right? I mean, you're sick. There's nothing I can do. If we had to stop down every time you blew your nose, I wouldn't be out of here, for fuck's sake.
That's true.
So why would I point that out? I mean, it just makes no sense. My friend is ill, and then I go ahead and I peel off the scab for all of America to see, and Ireland, because I know they're listening because the IRA desperately wants to get involved. And I know I have people in Germany. Paolo, what was that guy's name? Your buddy in Germany? My buddy's name is Oliver, and your buddy's name is Paolo. Might be. Paolo. Actually, that's our friends in Samoa. Paolo. Tuiasosopo. And Monte Teo. See, that's Samoan. No, he's Hawaiian. I always mix those up. Same thing, right? Though?
Oh, it's a racist statement. Same thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it is, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't mean it in a mean
Close
way.
enough.
Nah, fuck all that. You know, I feel that way about wild rice. I don't feel that way about human beings. Wild rice, fuck them. I tried to be cute there and it caught me. It bit me in the ass. So, because I was trying to talk my way out of the Monte Teo thing because I didn't even want to bring it up. I don't know why his name popped into my fucking head. And then I said that thing and then you busted me on it. Thanks. Go back to blowing your fucking nose. Way to hold me up to fucking public ridicule. I appreciate it. I told you my voice is shot. I need my voice. So the other comic was this dude named Howie. And Howie, I should tell you this, Howie's a nice guy, all right? But you wanted nothing to do with Howie ever. Because as bad as Jeff was running the Rushmore Comedy Tour, Howie was just as bad because he was like his right-hand man, and he liked living that life. Like, Jeff would call Howie up and go, hey, dude, you've got to get up to fucking Fargo and do a show now, and then you'll be back tomorrow morning to perform here in Sioux Falls. And Howie's like, great, send me. Where do I get a car? And Jeff had a fleet of cars where he'd send comics out to do stuff. Howie, he had no residence. Like, he just kind of floated around, and it was fucking... And I should tell you what he looked like. I don't even know if he's alive still. Howie Karsten was his name. And he had bleach blonde hair that he like stroked. Like, he was bald on top, but he had bleach blonde hair. He looked like the ghost of Sam Kinison, if you know what that means. Like, he was pasty white, because all he was just, because he used to bleach his hair. He looked like he was made out of bleach and cocaine. That's what the guy was, because he was wired all the fucking time. He would get drunk, he would get high, and he was that dude. That's what he wanted to do. He lived there. There are people who are comedians who are they want to be comedians because they want to go up through the ranks. They want to headline, and eventually maybe they want to be on television, and they want to write, and they want to do things like that. Then there are road dog dudes who are just happy to be on the road making people laugh, and they, as long as the next beer is within reach and the next bump is on somebody's hand, They're excited to be on the road making people laugh. They don't care. And I would see that happen in road comics, and you just recognize it when you'd work with a dude and you'd go, oh my God, this is, there's your John Foxes and your Denny Johnstons who were incredibly funny and destroyed in clubs. I mean, I worked with John Fox, and every night they were going to carry him out on their fucking shoulders, and he was more than happy to do it because it made him easier for him to reach into their wallets. I mean, John was that guy, and he just died, so I guess I shouldn't say this shit about him, but when I worked with him, he could not have been friendlier to me or more nice, but he was a fucking animal. He was the kind of dude who, when he would fly into town on a Wednesday, the club owners would have to pick him up and babysit him the entire fucking time. But I mean, in like, he expected it. Like, hey man, he ran them ragged, like partying, like let's go golfing, and then let's go to a strip club, and then let's go to the show, and then after the show we'll drink all night, and I'll tell you stories about the road, and then I'll wake up tomorrow at 2:30 and pick me up for lunch. And then maybe we'll go more golf, and and it was just that thing where he would come into town, the John Fox show would roll into town, and everybody got sucked into it. And then, Denny Johnson, these are guys who I grew up watching on TV, bless you. God damn it. This is just ridiculous. You shouldn't even be here today. I should just fucking bail. God damn it. You're sneezing, you're blowing your nose. I feel so bad for you. I'm the one who came in and I'm like, I'm sick. And then Lily just fucking played sick poker and dropped a gooey royal flush all over my ass with every sneeze. There's no way I can fucking handle it. All I got is throat. I hope that's all I have. I mean, I don't want to go full blown. I don't want to have a red nose like my friend Lily. And actually, your nose is as red as Howie Carston's, believe it or not.
Killing me.
Was it Karsten or Kirschen? Howie Kirsch?
I couldn't find a Karsten, but I may have spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Karsten, I think. I don't remember. All I know is Howie. Literally, just Google Howie Cocaine. I'm sure it'll come up because he was just fucking. He was a crazy, crazy dude. So I was in the hotel and I just wanted to sleep in the daytime. And it's funny, man. In a hotel, it's so easy to do that. This just happened to me in San Antonio. When I go to sleep now, I think I even talked about that on here. I have to have the curtains open when I sleep in a hotel because you never know. If you've got the curtains closed, it could be 2 a.m. It could be noon. You have no fucking idea because it is dark as a goddamn mausoleum inside your room. So I now have to sleep with the drapes open because otherwise I'll sleep all fucking day. Like I won't move. It's that thing where your body fools itself into thinking it's still nighttime. And I have fucking circadian rhythms anyway. So what the fuck? Circadian rhythms or circadian rhythms? I don't remember. R, no R. You guys take your pick. So but the worst part about this hotel in Bemidji was it didn't have a window. Because there were certain rooms, all right, I talked about this before, where in the Midwest, there are hotels that are set up where families will go and stay there for the weekend in like January and swim and have a good time because it's warm in there, but outside it's fucking 4 degrees below zero. So, but then the rooms won't have windows because they'll be in the interior of a hotel. Have you ever, some hotels obviously they have windows and stuff, but then there are rooms that are in the interior that have no window, and that's fucking depressing. So this one was like that in Bemidji, and I was there and I was going to go to sleep. And what happened was I went to sleep, and I probably didn't mean to sleep 12 hours, but I did. I just fucking slept the entire day away. And to the point where there was a knock on the door, and it was Howie. And he was informing me the show was over, and he was like, hey, we're going to go eat. Do you want to eat? And I'm like, ugh. Like, I couldn't even move. I was so fucking blasted with sleep, and it was dark in the room still. I'm like, what time is it? It's like 9, 10, I don't know, 10 o'clock. So he goes, we're going to eat. I go, I can't eat. I got to get ready to go. He's like, all right, well, get ready. We'll go eat. So I jumped in the shower super fast. I packed my bag. Because, again, I had been on my way to California, and then I was going to work some gigs. And then my car broke down and I was still stuck in the Midwest. So I was living there with all of my stuff. So I had to pack my bags and get those, squared away. And I took my shower and I got ready to go, and they picked me up and they go, all right, let's take off. So Howie was actually staying in my room that I had because he didn't have a room. He had come up and tagged up. This is the way he lived his life, man. And I respect him for it if that's how you want to do it. But just that weird nickel and diming, hustling way of life where it's like your whole life is Ratso Rizzo and you're waiting for the cab to hit you. You know what I mean? Just fuck. And I mean, believe me, I'm familiar with that life. I've done it, unfortunately. And it might be in my future again. Who knows? So Howie was going to take over my room, and he climbed right into my bed that I had slept in for 12 hours. He just and turns the TV on. I'm like, all right, buddy, see you later. And I get in the car. I meet Keith because I had not even met him. I had met him in passing, but just high and by. So I see him and I'm like, thank you so much for doing this. So I get in the car. We leave Bemidji, and I'm like, do you want me to drive? He's like, no, I'll drive. The first shift because I think it's like it might be 2,000 miles. I mean, it's really far, you know, because you're up at the top of America and you're driving on a downward slope to Sacramento, and we were going to go through Tahoe, and he was going to drop me in Tahoe. So we're driving, and we're making time. We're going through Bemidji. We go through Minnesota. We get into North Dakota. We're driving, and I'm sitting in the car. We're listening to the radio. We're listening to Art Bell because we're driving overnight. And that's what we did. I used to do it all the time when I would be on the road. I loved AM radio when I was driving overnight because I could find either Art Bell or the best is, oh my God, here's the best. When you were driving overnight in California, KNX, no, that's KNX 1070. That's the news one. There's a station in San Francisco that plays the Giants, and they would rerun the game at like 1 a.m. So I'd be driving, and all of a sudden the Giants would come on at midnight, and I'd go, I got 3 hours of baseball. This is going to be fucking gorgeous. So I mean, I it's so awesome to have the take. I don't want to choose anything ever, so take it off my plate. So we're in the car, we're listening to Art Bell, and we finally hit Bismarck, I think it is, and he wants to stop and get gas. And this is like 4 a.m. Might have been 3. And we pull over, and we get out at the gas station. And I go in the back because I'm going to grab something out of my bag. And I open the trunk hatch thing that he had, and I realize I don't have my garment bag, which has probably 12 shirts in it. And I unbelievable, like in my head, I see it's not there. And you ever seen a movie when like a hero is looking, X-Men First Class. Did you see X-Men First Class? And when Professor X is seeing into the future or whatever, and he can see what's going on a million miles away, and he looks into people's heads, I had that epiphany in my brain where I looked in the back of the trunk and I saw no garment bag, and I immediately I seized up. I was like, and then in my head it was like all backwards. My whole night ran backwards to Howie getting into my bed, and me being so weirded out that Howie got in my bed, I didn't do a lap around the room, and I could physically see my garment bag hanging in the closet. Like I knew exactly what it looked like, but it was because Howie had crawled into my warm groove of the bed. It was so creepy that I just wanted to get the fuck out of the room and get out of there so badly. And also I had slept 12 hours. I was all out of the fucking sink, and it was dark. And I forgot my garment bag, and I looked at Keith and I go, you're not going to believe this. I left something in Bemidji. And he's like, okay, so? I said, well, it's like all of my clothes. Like it's a garment bag that has like 12 shirts in it. It's, can I call the hotel? I mean, can I at least verify that it's there? And he's like, well, yeah, go ahead. So I called the front desk, and I had told them what room I was in, and they put me on hold, and they rang the room. Howie, of course, is not fucking answering. So they go, there's no answer in the room. And I go, I guarantee you. And the thing is, it was a bust because it was in my name, and now Howie's in there, and it looks weird, and it's, it's probably going to get Jeff in trouble, but I didn't fucking care. I needed my shirts. And as far as I was concerned, I was never coming back to fucking Bemidji, Minnesota in my life. So I said, look, you've got to ring it. I know there's a guy in there. He's sleeping. His name's Howie. He was one of the comics in the show tonight. You got it. So they called, and they go, there's no answer. I go, I have to ask you a huge favor. Can you go to the room? He's like, well, I'm the only one working. I said, I understand that. Can you just put something at the desk that says you'll be right back in a bell or whatever the fuck? I go, just please. And he's like, all right. So he put me on hold. And I'm on a payphone, by the way, in the middle of North Dakota at 3 a.m, freezing. With a guy who doesn't even fucking know me sitting in his warm car going, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Guy comes back after like 10 minutes. And he's like, yeah, I finally got them to answer the door. This guy is in there. He answered, and we went in there, and yeah, there's a bag in there, and it wasn't his. It's yours, right? I said, yeah. He goes, it's a bunch of shirts. I said, yeah, it's a garment bag hanging in the closet. I can tell you exactly where it is and what it looks like. He goes, yeah, I've got it. I go, great. What's my move here? And he goes, well, I don't know. What do you want me to do with this? And I go, well, I've got miles behind me. I mean, I'm in North Dakota. Can you guys ship that to me? And he goes, well, yeah, probably if you give me an address. So I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic. Because I was just going to have him ship it to Tahoe, to Katie's house where I was going. So I said, all right, I can give you an address and stuff. It's going to be in Lake Tahoe, and we'll ship it. He goes, okay. He goes, well, it's pretty big. Like, it's huge. Like, so we're going to have to, do you have a box? And I go, no, I don't have a box. I'm not from there. I have a bag. That's it, full of shirts, and you've got it in your hand. That's the only possession I have in Bemidji, Minnesota. He goes, well, so they're going to have to box this up, and do you want to, and what, we'll send it COD, or how do you, and I go, look, I haven't thought that far. I didn't even know that it was there. I'm standing at a payphone, freezing my ass off, making sure that you have it, and I so appreciate it. But yes, I need to figure out a way to get it to where I am. And he goes, all right. And he goes, well, hold on. He puts me on hold. And again, he's the only guy there. Comes back again after 10 minutes, and I look at Keith. I'm going, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He goes, it's okay. It's all right. He was very accommodating and very friendly. Bless you. Guy comes back, and he says, all right. He goes, well, I'm looking up. We send out FedEx every day. So I'm looking at the shipping rates, and, they do it by weight. He goes, so I'm looking at this, and just my guess is this probably weighs about 10 pounds. And if you want us to send it with the shipping and to get it overnight to you, or he goes, this is probably going to be about $340. And I do like that weird loony, like that fucking my eyes bug out, and I'm just like, whoa, dude, seriously, can't you just mail it? He goes, well, no, the hotel doesn't do that. It's not, we're not going to go to a post office just for you and make a special thing. He goes, especially with something this big. He goes, we would just give this to FedEx, and they would box it up any way they did it, and it would be in their hands. He goes, I can't even guarantee delivery to you. I can give you a confirmation number, but then it's in FedEx's hands, and the hotel has nothing to do with it. I went, okay, so then why? How do you know it's 340? He goes, well, I'm just guessing from weight and stuff. Because you'll have to hash that out with FedEx, and that's in the morning. They'll come here. I'll give this to them, and then you'll have to talk to them about getting it shipped to you. But I'm guessing it's me around $300. And I went, all right, so what do you need from me? He goes, I need you to call in the morning. He goes, you can call here in the morning and talk to the guy who handles our shipping, and then they'll get you to the FedEx person that we use, and they'll take care of it. And I'm just fucking freezing my ass off, staring into the distance, going, Jesus Christ. I go, all right, thanks. And I hang up the phone after pumping in fucking quarter after quarter. Because I didn't have my calling card at the time. Remember those? So I get into the car. And Keith, by the way, had given me the quarters out of his toll change thing. And I sit down, and I'm shell-shocked, and he can see it. He goes, what's up? I said, I left my garment bag. It's got all my shirts. And the guys tell me it's like $300 for shipping. He goes, man, that's fucking rough. I go, yeah. I go, I'm so mad. I go, it was there. I go, I could have done one last sweep of the room, and I didn't. It was just, there's nothing worse than when it's your mistake. When you know you're the one who fucked this up. He's like, yeah, it's pretty bad. And then it's kind of hanging in the air. And I said, Keith? And he goes, what? Keith, can we go back and get my bag? He goes, we've been driving for 4 hours. I said, I understand. And I'll pay for all the gas, and I'll do all the driving if you want. I said, but it saves me $300. I go, do you need to be back in Sacramento at any time? And he goes, no. He goes, I don't have a gig. He goes, I told you that before. I said, yeah, I know. I'm just kind of reiterating that because I'm asking you a huge favor here, and you don't know me, and you're doing me a favor anyway by taking me, and I'm going to cost you 8 hours here, but I'm asking you if you would left something back at the hotel. And he goes, I didn't, and I wouldn't. And I go, I understand that, but what I'm telling you is I did, and if you had, and you had to go back, then you would have to go back. Well, I did, and I'm so sorry, and I'm so stupid. But Jesus, if you could do this favor for me, I would never forget it. And he says, all right. And he drove me 4 hours back to Bemidji, where I walked in, grabbed my bag, walked out, and we drove the other 4 hours the rest of the way. And And just an amazing act of kindness, something he did not have to do, especially for a stranger, someone he didn't know, and who pretty much had shivved him all day by going, "Nah, I want MC. I don't want to do any of that. I'm not going to go eat. I don't want to. I just want to go to California. Taxi, tell me when you're ready." And then I had to ask him for this favor, and he thought about it. And to his credit, he didn't hold it against me. He wasn't shitty to me. He would snarkily bring it up like a comic would, but it wasn't. Let's put, all right, there's a grain of truth behind him busting my balls, of course. But the bottom line, this is a guy that I had known for 5 minutes before that day, and he offered to take me 2,000 miles to California just to do me a favor. And then, not only that, added another 500 miles onto that by going round trip and bringing me back to get my bag because I left it and he wanted to save me $300. My wife won't drive a mile to pick up my dry cleaning. And even if she does, she can't be bothered to type 3 letters or 2 letters in a text to tell me whether she can or can't. I should have fucking married Keith. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend David Hernandez, or actually be his friend at Facebook. What are you doing? Okay. I wish you could see what I just saw, folks. You can be my friend David Hernandez's friend. We can all be friends. Let's have a friend bang. We'll all be friends at Facebook at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. And if you'd like to be our friend Lily Von Stupp's friend, oh my God, it's a crazy friend bang. Go to Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp and be her friend as well. If you want to follow her on Twitter, she has 2 separate accounts. She's got Twitter.com/MNTs and Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, and also Twitter.com/FNHappyHour. Yes. So she's got 3 different Twitter accounts. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out exactly why her nipples hurt, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, 10 o'clock p.m. Monday night. Shows available, tickets available at brownpapertickets.com. I happen to know the producer of that show. She is a wonderful friend, and unfortunately she's a little under the weather. You may have heard some of that during the show as she drooled and vomited the entire fucking time. And now she can't stop grabbing her chest. But again, write her if you want to know about what that's all about. She's my producer. She's your producer. She's our producer. Lily Von Stupp, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Lily.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Fantastic. First of all, how was the debut of the Friday Night Happy Hour?
I have to say, it was spectacular.
Really?
It was everything I could have wanted in the first show of a new venture.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to, now it's different than the tease. How? It's a shorter, truncated version during a happy hour.
Yes and no. It's still the same great quality of performers, but they're packaged a little bit differently, and we do a show straight through without an intermission.
Okay.
So it's a longer, shorter show, if that makes sense.
Right. It's a little bang bang.
Yeah, it's very high power bang bang, and we give away drinks. We have a lot of fun. It's nonstop burlesque fun.
Great.
I mean, it's just,
And it went good. It went good on
It
Friday.
was spectacular. We had a huge turnout. One of our fans, for lack of better word, was so kind, bought champagne for the whole cast. Somebody brought me roses. I mean,
No way.
It was a spectacular opening, and people were emailing me telling me how much fun they had. So I'm very delighted and very proud of what we put together.
And that's why you do it.
It is.
And that's why I do what I do, because it's always a thrill when someone comes up to you and tells you what you mean to them or that they really enjoy what you do, and that's great.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then the Monday Night Tease was good this week. It was the theme show.
Spectacular as well.
Yeah.
It was our teen angst show, and we had so much fun with John Hughes films and just dealing with what it's like to be a child and kind of dealing with, burlesque is a very empowering thing, and a lot of times you bring acts to the stage that have to do with issues that you had as a child. So it was really nice to bring some of that out and celebrate it, as opposed to still being afraid of those horrible things that happened in high school.
Well, I can tell you some of the worst teen angst I ever had growing up was knowing that eventually I would have to take my clothes off in a bar.
The thing about burlesque is realizing that the worst thing that can happen to you is not being naked in front of all of your friends.
I see. Great.
So it's an empowering, cool thing. We had a shit ton of fun.
Cool. So there's a Friday night show coming up this week.
Yes.
And then there's a Monday night tease next week. Is there a theme to Monday night tease next week?
Well, Rob the Balloon Guy is hosting, and it's his birthday. And we also have a magic show that's going to be filmed after the show as a bonus on Monday as well.
So ticket holders can see the magic show?
Ticket holders can stay and see the magic show.
That's awesome. So it's two shows basically for the price of one. Check that out on Monday night at the Monday Night Tease at the 3 Clubs in Santa Monica and Vine. And also Friday Night Happy Hour also at the 3 Clubs in Santa Monica and Vine. What time does that start on Fridays?
That starts at 8 p.m. sharp. You want to get there around 6:30, 7 o'clock, so you're really loaded by the time the show starts.
Yeah, you can drink in the front bar and there's music and stuff before the show even starts.
Bar opens too.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the whole club.
We got the whole club. Yeah.
Nice. So that's every Friday night at the Friday Night Happy Hour. Show starts at 8, but get there about 6:30 or so you're there and having a good time and getting your seats and all that stuff. And then Monday nights, of course, at the Monday Night Tease at 10 o'clock p.m. Always available on brownpapertickets.com. Always available at mondaynighttease.com. Any information you would need about upcoming shows, about our friend Lily, about ticket information, brownpapertickets.com or mondaynighttease.com. Check those out and go see our friend Lily take her clothes off and all of her friends take their clothes off. Yeah, it's huge. I wish I could go. I wish I could go every night. That would be weird. What if I just made you take your clothes off every night and I showed up? That's awesome. Hold on, actually. Yeah, that's true. We could do that here. But then I wouldn't have to. I want to remind you folks that Lily's taking over her clothes in her apartment every single night. That doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, it's not going to make money.
You guys can go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and be friends with Lily and David, as I've mentioned. And hey, you know what? Let's talk about this really quick before we get into that. Artbydmh.com is David Hernandez's website for all of his freelance abilities and all of your freelance needs. If you have a company and you wish to hire someone to do storyboards or all of this other amazing stuff, go to artbydmh.com and check out David. Contact him for his rates. He is fast. He is good. And he is someone who will give you the best that he possibly can in whatever time frame you would need. I'm telling you, his turnaround time is ridiculous. I'm able to call him after a show, and in 3 hours, I've got a painting artwork that matches and actually surpasses the quality of the show. I always tell him, I'll call him up and I go, dude, you gotta hook me up here because I'm not so sure about this show. You gotta save it, and then he will. He always saves it. I should say I'm recording this on Tuesday. This is David's birthday today.
Yay!
So I put it on my Facebook wall, and I'll tell you guys now, you're hearing this on Thursday. It's 2 days short, but who cares, man? Go to his page, tell him happy birthday, tell him, thank him for all of the good things he does for us because he takes care of all the artwork. He takes care of all of the music. I talk. That's really all I do. Lily takes care of all the, like I said, I thought I talked into the computer. I mean, that's where I am. But Lily's got flanges and all sorts of other shit to take care of. I don't know what she's got, boxes and vocoders. And I'm like, I would sound like Roger from Zapp if it wasn't for Lily. I mean, seriously, she's taking care of it. Oh, fuck that. You know what? You're fired. I want to sound like Roger from Zapp. So, God damn it. That'd be great. We got to do a whole show where I'm auto-tuned or something. That'd be fun. Auto-tuning is like $1 million though, right? Isn't the program? I don't know. But our friend David Hernandez, it is his birthday today on Tuesday, but it's Thursday when you're hearing this. Go tell him thank you. Go be his friend on Facebook and make sure that he knows that he's appreciated. Because, I mean, I tell him, and you can only tell a guy so many times before he goes, fuck you. I've known you 30 years. I don't know if you appreciate anything in your life. But he knows that I appreciate the things that he does for the show, and I hope that you guys will go and tell him the very same thing. Or maybe, but if you don't appreciate it, keep it to yourself. How about that? I don't need you floating over there and starting trouble. Who do you think you are? Nobody wants to go to America's Yearbook and start a problem. Go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. Like I said, be friends with David, and you can also be friends with me. And on the page there's all sorts of pages to bring me to your town. All the live stuff is pretty much on hold right now. I will not lie about that. I have shows coming up, though. Well, I apologize. Let me go ahead and say this in case you have not heard. I need to apologize to you, Detroit, Mount Clemens, Michigan. I had to cancel this weekend's show. It will be rescheduled. If you'd like a refund, I've got no problem with that. Go ahead and contact me, and I'm happy to do your refund. Otherwise, hold your tickets because Brown Paper Tickets holds the list of people who've already paid, and you will go immediately onto the list for the next show, and there will be a next show. I'm just trying to figure out the date. I was actually kind of hoping to squeeze it in on the 16th or the 23rd, like in these 2 weeks before Portland, because I need it, man. I'm going to need it to do it for the CD anyway. But here's the thing: I canceled the show in Detroit, and I called the guy who runs the theater, and I didn't get him. I got the kid who was working there, and I go, "Hey, I have a show next week, and I have to cancel it." And he's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm real sorry." I said, "So I have to talk to John," and I sent them a check and everything. I mean, it's all it's on the up and up. But I told him, I go, "I'm really sorry, something has come up, and unfortunately I can't go. So I need to talk to John." He's like, "Well, here's his cell. You can call him on this." And but I haven't talked to this guy yet. I mean, I haven't talked to the guy who runs the theater. I'd like to speak with him so I could reschedule, but the bottom line is they know I had to cancel, which is unfortunate. And again, I paid and everything, so hopefully it'll be fine. But if not, we have a great show coming about it in the future. So I apologize, Detroit/Mount Clemens, and I will do what I can to reschedule that as soon as I possibly can. Right now, tickets are on sale. I can tell you this for Portland, March 29th. That's a Friday in Portland at the Headwaters Theater. Tickets are on sale now. Hey, Portland, you haven't bought any tickets, so that would be kind of cool if you did. I know we're about 3 weeks away, but you were lagging behind, and it would be really cool if you bought some tickets and saw me there. That would be great. I would appreciate it. Headwaters Theater, and that will be the last show before I tape the CD the following week. April 5th at the Darkroom Theater. That's a Friday night show at 8 o'clock. Also, Friday night show, Darkroom Theater, April 5th, San Francisco. Tickets are on sale now. And I can tell you, those have been moving, and, you should get them if you're going to get them because it's going to sell out. I do know that for sure. So, I'm so transparent. Like I will tell you, literally, there's nobody who's buying any tickets for that. But however, this one might sell out. But the last few times I was, the first time I was in San Francisco, it sold out. And then the last time I was there, we did really well. So it might not sell out. I don't want to say that, but there will be tickets available. No, there aren't. There are now. Buy them now. Avoid it. I'm fucking torn. The bottom line is get tickets because I've actually been selling quite a few for that. So it would be great if you were to jump on board and get some now so you guaranteed yourself in having them coming out at the Darkroom Theater for the CD taping. And then, by the way, I'll just tell you this. I don't know if I want to tell you this. I'm in town in San Francisco and I'm leaving Saturday night. I'm doing my show Friday night, but I'm going to the Giants game on Saturday. It's Buster Posey bobblehead night, which I really don't care about. I just want to see the park and go to the game and see the fucking McCovey Cove. So if anybody is interested in doing that, I actually contacted our friend Lou in San Francisco, who I actually had dinner with the last time I was in town. And I said, because he's a Giants guy, huge Giants guy. So I went, "Hey, Lou, you're the first guy I want to come to see if you want to go to this show or this game. And I don't know if you are, I don't know if he's a season ticket guy or if he has a ticket connection." I wasn't trying to swoop in. I was just trying to see if he wanted to go. And he was like, "That sounds great." And then the next day he sent me an email. He said, "I can't do that because it's my wife's birthday." And I was like, "All right, I totally understand." So my point is I will be going alone to the Giants game. But if anybody else wants to go, that's great. And it's going to be a serious ticket because, like I said, it's Buster Posey bobblehead day and the Giants are world champions and it's the first weekend of baseball and people will be going. So it's going to be hard to grab tickets. We'll get them on StubHub and we're going to have to pay for them. But I'm in. If you guys are in, if anybody else wants to go, let me know. And if you have season tickets, then call me and I'll go with you and everybody else can go to hell. So that's fine. That works out perfectly. And the thing is, I'm going to this game during the day and then I have to go, I'm flying that night. So I got to go like right from the park to the airport. It's going to be crazy. But I'm excited. I think I'm going to be able to do it. So tickets are available for Portland and tickets are available for San Francisco. Right now, those are at brownpapertickets.com. Search my name, search the 40-year-old boy, and you can grab those right away. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. They're the Joe Business page. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, if you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, on every single page in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little Schmitty with his pocket out. Click on him to donate to the show. That'd be great. I would appreciate it. And I will dump that money right back into the show and improve my voice, my sick voice. We'll buy a flange. We'll buy a Roger from Zapbox to make me sound that much better. Go to the Joe Business page and you can get artwork signed artwork signed by me and Lily Von Stupp and David Hernandez, the three-headed monster that runs the 40-Year-Old Boy Industries. You can get mugs via Zazzle.com. There's the Fireboy mug and the Thorgar and Eat mug. Go to tweakedaudio.com/40. They sponsor the show, and they always have, and I think they always will, unless I do something really terrible, although I can't imagine what terrible thing I would do to chase them off at this point. But if you go to tweakedaudio.com/40, you can get autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches in many different styles, because I don't know what your cock's best color is. And neither do they. That's why they've put out so many colors, so you can mix and match. So artwork and mugs and tweakedaudio.com/40, and of course t-shirts, the Scar Panda shirts and the Red Boy shirts. I am running out of shirts, and I don't know when I can reorder, because as you know, I don't have a t-shirt company right now. But look forward to 10 episodes about that in the future as I try to find one and possibly think about getting a new shirt rolling your way. But right now we've got still smalls through extra larges in both black and red, but I can tell you we're running low on the XLs. So if you want one, grab one, and I will have some in Portland by the end of the month as well. So that's shirts, and that's artwork, and then that's Tweaked, and that's Zazzle. And also, the Schmitty Comes Live download is available for you. It's a $5 audio download of my show at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival, and it is great. I actually made myself listen to it while I was in San Antonio, because I was trying to figure some stuff out regarding timing, and I listened to it, and I was like, God damn, I'm funny. I wish it wasn't true that I wasn't feeling that way, but yes, every time I don't listen to the show. I let it go and it's in the ether and I don't even think about it. But then when I have to go back and review it, I'm like, God damn. And I'll listen to shows from like year 2 or year 3, and I'm like, look at the volume of comedy I have put in your laps, folks. Look what I have climbed into your head with. Look what has gone in through your ears and stuck inside your medulla oblongatas. Everything that I brought to the table has been amazing. You love me. That seems strong. That's a good way to bang it out of your head, where you're just like, nah, no, we hate you, dude. That's ridiculous. You seem high on yourself. So that's Schmitty Comes Alive to download. And then, of course, there's artwork and mugs and earbuds and watches and donations. And also, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 of this podcast are available individually. Or you can buy them all together as part of the Podcast of the Caribbean set and get 4 for the price of 3. And that's all of the stuff I just told you about. When I've been listening back to year 2 and year 3 and year 1 and going, Jesus Christ, I'm great. You can own that. You can bring that into your house, and you don't have to take my word for it as I sit here and babble in a stripper's kitchen. You can go ahead and hear me when I was babbling in my own living room. You can go ahead and hear me when I was babbling in a stripper's bedroom. That's where I've gone, folks. I was in a stripper's bedroom for a long time doing this show. Now I'm in a stripper's kitchen. I'm moving on up. I'm the fucking Jeffersons of podcasting. You want some of this? I don't think you do. I'm heading to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the fucking sky. What next? Where else can I go? Stripper's bedroom, stripper's kitchen. I'm shattering the stripper ceiling of podcasting, folks. The glitter ceiling. I'm shattering the glitter ceiling.
Oh my God.
So go ahead and buy all that stuff. It's great. I was in San Antonio this past weekend. I know you're like, because I was talking about the show, and then I got sidetracked, and I started talking about shirts. And I talked about shirts for like an hour, which was ridiculous. But I got, again, it was in my head with the texting and the shirts. I should tell you how it worked out, folks. We had to take a little break here because I got a text from my wife saying that they didn't have my shirts. And I was like, what the fuck? Because, all right, here's the thing. I went yesterday to the dry cleaners, and part of this is my fault. Man, some of it is. Some of it. Barely any of it. All right, so there were 2 of my shirts in clothes jail yesterday, so I had to spring them. But when I went in, I brought in another shirt that I needed done by today, because, again, I'm traveling tomorrow. So I gave the guy the shirt, and he's like, well, do you want to take your other shirts with you? I said, no. Box them all together. I'll come out tomorrow and spring everybody in one big jailbreak from clothes jail, all 3 at once. He goes, all right, no problem. 4:30 tomorrow. I said, great. And then I asked my wife nicely if she would pick them up. And then I confirmed it with her. And then I asked her again, and I asked her again, and I asked her yet again. I would not stop asking her. I asked her over and over. And luckily, she said yes every single time, which is good. So then, as we know, she wasn't texting me, and she wasn't answering my texts, and I started to get a little freaked out. And then finally she said, yes, I am, or whatever the fuck, and we talked about that earlier. Well, then I saw the text, and she's like, hey, 1 shirt? And I went, no, 3 shirts. And she said, they're saying there's only 1 shirt. And I said, no, there were 2 shirts there yesterday. I dropped a 3rd shirt off. They're all there to have them look under the phone number. And then I put the phone down and I talked some more and I brought you more comedy. And then my phone lit up and it just had 1 word, nope. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm sitting here and I don't know what to do then. Am I supposed to leap out of my chair and go there and meet her or beat these people to death? I have no idea. That seems like a lot of extremes. Either drive there or beat them to death. I'm guessing the answer is somewhere between those two. So Karen calls me. Phone rings and I answer it. She's like, hey, I'm here. They don't have your clothes. I go, that's bullshit. I was there yesterday. They have 2 shirts. And then I added a 3rd shirt on top of it. And they said, well, they don't have it. And I hear the turn signal. I go, where are you? She goes, well, I'm going home. I go, what do you mean you're going home? Do you have the shirts? She goes, well, I have the 1 shirt. I go, no, I need all 3 shirts. They have them there. I guarantee they have them. Unless something happened that gave them away to another fat guy, they have them. And she's like, well, I understand that. Fine. Do you have a number or a slip? And I said, yeah, hold on. I went in my wallet and the slip I had said 1 shirt. And I said, it says 1 shirt, which I dropped off yesterday, but with the phone number, it should tell them. Don't they have a history of shirts? Don't my clothes have a rap sheet at this point? They've been in that closed jail so many times. And I've had to come and bail them out. There must be a record of their appearances there. And she's like, well, what does it say on your slip? And I said, well, it has this number and this number and this number. She goes, let me write them down. I will go back. And I was like, thank you. So she went back. And I'm sitting here furious because I don't know what to do. Again, it's those people hiding my shirts. It's a game those people play. I don't know if that's true. Dry cleaners, they want to give you your clothes back, don't they? Who would steal my fat guy shirt unless you're covering a car with it? So the phone rings again and it's Karen. And she's like, Michael, I just want to tell you something. What you did was stupid. If you have clothes there, you take them. And I went, I'm stupid? She goes, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just telling you that if the clothes are there, take them. Because what happened is she saw that was listed and it said from January, and he pushed a button yesterday that said you picked them up and then you didn't. She goes, so I had to watch the whole clothes roller coaster go by, and I know what your clothes look like. So I was able to go, those are them. Those are the shirts.
Wow.
And I said, do you have the shirts? And she said, yes. I go, okay, then don't tell me I'm stupid and all these different things. It's their fault. She goes, it's not their fault. It's your fault because you left them there. And I go, okay, fine. It's my fault. Do you have the shirts? She's like, yeah, I got the shirts. I said, honey, it was very important for me to get those. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. She goes, all right, you can have them tonight when you're on a pack. Bye. Bye, click. So please know that the shirts have been received, but not without tension and turmoil, courtesy of I don't want to say their name, but the cleaners. Yeah, and you know what's funny? They are the best cleaners I found. There's like 2 other cleaners I've gone to that have monkeyed everything up all the time, but these guys always do a great job, except now they try to steal my shirts. But luckily, I had my wife in there on the case. And luckily it wasn't me, because if they would have told me we don't have your shirts, it would have literally just, all you would have seen was this hollowed out storefront with just clothes for miles around as the Hulk was tearing apart the fucking building looking for his shirts. You know what? Instead, I should fly tomorrow and then have Keith drive me back to pick up my shirts. We could probably do that. So I got sidetracked talking about all that, and I forgot. I was remiss. I didn't get to talk about San Antonio very much. And normally I give you guys like a travelogue of the entire trip, but it was a whirlwind trip this time, man. I mean, I was in and out in 36 hours. I went in, I did my thing. I flew. I should tell you this, my routing was real bad because I got the ticket for free because I had miles. Because I don't know if you know this, folks, I'm Advantage Gold. So I had some miles stored up, so I went ahead and got the ticket. Now, Los Angeles to San Antonio doesn't seem like it's really far. I mean, it's kind of far, but not really. I mean, I've flown to El Paso. It's a quick flight. So I went to American, and they were like, all right, cool, you want a free ticket? Fantastic. Here you go. And I booked it. I wasn't even thinking. I'm like, yeah, that's great. We're done. But I didn't look at the itinerary, really. I knew it was not one or not nonstop, which was a drag, but that's fine. So then it wasn't until the day before the flight that I really looked at it, and I realized I was flying out of Burbank in the morning to Seattle. So I was flying like 800 miles north and then having to double back to Texas. I earned the miles. I'm Advantage Gold. Aren't you aware of that, folks? Why are you putting me on 9 different cruises? It makes no sense. So I had to take a flight from Burbank all the way up to Seattle, and then from Seattle all the way to San Antonio. So, I mean, I didn't get to San Antonio until like 6:30. And the second flight was completely full. But luckily there was a tiny midget lady sitting next to me. But it didn't matter. She still insisted on having the armrest down, which, again, I don't get. I mean, because you put the armrest down, I'm still gonna, my huge body's gonna fucking absorb it. You know, I mean, I'm eating giant candy bars for fuck's sake. What the fuck? Unless you're a giant candy bar, you don't need to protect yourself from me in the sky. I mean, that 2 inches of plastic, I'm the absorbing man in the air because again, essentially my gut just fucking steals the entire armrest. You're not gonna see it again until we land. And I mean, if you think that 2 inches of plastic is gonna keep you from getting sky raped if I make my mind up, I don't think so. Well, I'm serious. What are you protecting yourself from? It makes no sense. If I want to grab you, I'm going to grab you. It's going to happen. You're not protecting yourself. And I'm not that guy. We all know I'm not that guy. But who knows what happens at 25,000 feet? If something happens and there's a leak, some Freon leak, maybe I go crazy. Who knows? I'm on a lot of planes. It could happen, folks. So I land and I get picked up by Robert, who's the guy who set up the San Antonio page. And good guy. Intense guy, I'll tell you that. It was like we had dinner and we hung out. He took me to my hotel. I checked in and then we went to get some dinner. And he was like, "Hey man, do you want Mexican or you want barbecue?" I said, "Honestly, I'm good either way, but I'm leaning toward Mexican." He goes, "All right, I know a great Mexican place." I go, "Great, let's go to a different one." Because I'm an idiot. I don't know why, but he had a place all picked out. And then I said, well, I actually looked up this other place on the internet and had like a pretty good thing. And he knew the name and he knew where it was. He goes, "All right, well, we'll go there." And we went there and it was just okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was good, but they were really busy. So they kept bringing our food in like weird shifts. Like he would get his entree and then I would get a piece of toast and then I would get my entree and then they'd bring our appetizer. Like it was that sort of thing. The waiter was not a good waiter. But I hung out and I had dinner with Robert the whole time. And then at dinner, I got way late because I hadn't slept much. I couldn't sleep on the planes. So I was like, dude, I got to get to my hotel and just crash. And he's like, all right, no problem. But again, I should tell you, we had dinner. We were in the car like several times. And I don't think I made him laugh once. It was the weirdest feeling. I'm like, why? Dude, I'm funny. Remember, you brought me here because I'm funny, but I couldn't crack him. I mean, I tried to be as funny as I possibly could, and it was going nowhere. I was like, and we had a pleasant conversation, and I enjoyed his company, but when I would try to be funny, he would just kind of go, yeah, so anyway, here's another thing I was going to tell you. I'm like, all right, I hope I'm not wasting your time, buddy. But I wasn't. We were having a great time. It's just that I'm not used to not being able to make people laugh. So when I'm trying to be funny, or I'm just off the cuff funny. I don't want to say trying to be funny, but I am. I guess I'm always trying to be funny. I don't know. I hate when it sounds like that. But I couldn't get him. There was nothing I could do that could fucking solve him. And I was like, all right, well, that's weird. But it wasn't weird. It's just he's a normal person. He doesn't fall victim to my fucking nonsense. So he takes me back to the hotel. I get in the hotel, and I'm going to stay up all night. You know me. That's how I do things. But then I get in the room, and I don't have a bed at my house anymore. You know, we get that air mattress that's fucking crazy. It's like sleeping on a child's wading pool, I told you. So this is my first time I've been in a bed since, when I was in Chicago. So I laid down in the bed. And I should tell you this, when I got in the room, in San Antonio, it was like 70 degrees when I got there. I went in my room, I immediately cranked the heat up to 83. Because it's me, man. I want that fucking room hot. So I get in the room and I get in the bed and I turn on SVU, which, by the way, I haven't watched SVU. I watch the reruns, you know what I mean, occasionally if they're on. But I haven't watched new SVU in forever. What the fuck happened? Why'd they fire everybody at the police station, for fuck's sake? It's like Ice-T and Mariska Hargitay and then a bunch of nondescript white dudes and a white chick. And I'm like, I don't like any of these people. Where's the Jimmy Smits? Bring him in. Bring in a recognizable face. They had some case of the military the other day. And then fucking, oh, you know who was on? Oh my God, awful, awful. Mariska Hargitay went to dinner with the new DA, Harry Connick Jr. Kill yourselves. That guy is awful. And then he gets to make out with Mariska Hargitay? That doesn't make any sense. You know what? Climb in her car and then guy's driving a convertible and I hope you crash and your head gets cut off, Connick Jr. That's right. It's in her legacy. It's in her family. Why not? So he doesn't get my Olivia. He shouldn't get my Olivia. All right. Oh my God. And she was going to bang him too. At the end of this particular episode, they went to dinner and then she like kissed him and she's like, nightcap. And then a cab pulled up and he goes, I got to get up early. And then a cab pulled up and he's like, nightcap. Can't do it. And he put her in the cab. Connick, what a panty waste. What are you doing? Close the deal, Connick. You're a DA. Close the deal. So as I was watching that and contemplating that, I fell asleep. It was like 11 o'clock. And then I woke up at 5. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm up. So then I got up and I did some stuff on the computer. And then I went back to bed at 8:30. And then I woke up again at 1:30. And I didn't do anything, man, in San Antonio. I was in the room the whole time. So I woke up at 1:30. And I called the theater, which was the Woodlawn Theater. I kept thinking it was Woodvale or Woodfield or Woodlawn. I think it's Woodlawn. Woodview? No, Woodview was the school I went to as a kid. I didn't go to the school. We played football at the school. Oh man, one time. Oh, never mind. Who cares? I'm gonna tell a football story from when I was a kid. Some glory days bullshit when I returned a kick for a touchdown. Nobody cares. All right, so so I was playing at this theater, and I called them, and I said, "Hey, I'm Mike Schmidt. I'm in the black box tonight." And this guy's name was, I think, Tad or Ted, and he goes, "Oh, what are you doing in the black box tonight?" I said, "I'm performing. I have a show tonight." He goes, "I do not have that listed." I said, "Well, Tad, you guys cashed my check, so I hope someone has it listed because I'm there tonight at 8 o'clock. I've been selling tickets for over a month on the internet." And he goes, "Well," I said, "Greg is the guy who runs the theater. He's the person I spoke with, and that's who I booked it with." He goes, "Okay, let me get a hold of Greg so I know what to tell you about what's going to happen tonight." And as I'm talking to him, my phone buzzes, and I look, and I have a text from Robert. And I said, "Thank you," to Ted, and I hang up the phone. I read the text from Robert, and it's like, "Hey, I don't want to alarm you in any way, but I just called the theater to find out about tickets because I'm bringing somebody, so I wanted to find out about walk-up sales, and they told me they don't know who you are or what you're doing." So they sounded pretty panicked, certainly as panicked as me, so you might want to contact them and then tell me what's going to happen. Because again, Robert was the guy who wanted me to come to town. So as I'm reading Robert's text, I get an email from Greg from the theater. And it's like, "Hi, Mike, this is Greg at the Woodlawn Theater. Could you contact me as soon as you possibly can so we can discuss this? Here's my phone number." And I'm getting weird. So like I put it on Facebook. I'm like, "Hey, I just called the theater and nobody knows I exist." So I call Greg and I go, "Hey, Greg," I go, "this is Mike Schmidt. We've spoken in the past." He goes, "I remember that." I said, "Okay." I go, "I sent you a check that was cashed." And he goes, "Do you know if it was sent to me or to the theater?" I said, "You know what? Hold on." And I went to my bank's site and I pulled it up and I pulled up the check and I said, "It was written to you guys on January 28th. It was deposited on February 21st. And it was written to the theater," and I explained everything, and he's like, "Okay." He goes, as I was talking, he went in his office and he goes, "All right." He goes, "It's weird." He goes, "I'm looking at my calendar and I look down and there's your name on my calendar for tonight in the Black Box Theater." He goes, "We just completely forgot." I said, "Oh, okay." I go, "Well, I've called the theater like 3 times and never got an answer." And I go, "And I sent you emails because I send out a beat sheet whenever I do a show, and it used to have the music cues and all that stuff, but St. Louis cured that. And especially since I don't have the music cues for the CD, I just send out a thing telling them, here's when I'm coming and walk-up sale, all that stuff." And I said, "I sent that to you." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You know what? My computer crashed." He goes, "And I lost a lot of emails, so it got lost in the shuffle." I said, "Okay." I said, "That's fine." I go, "All I care about is that you know I'm coming now and you can accommodate me." And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to it." I said, "Great. That's all I wanted to hear." So I go to Facebook and then I write false alarm. I talk to the guy behind the guy and everything's fine. We got a show. So they asked me to be there early so the show was at 8. I said, "Well, I'm going to get there about 7. They go, "Could you get here a little earlier than that so we could talk about what you need and stuff? Because we don't have no information about you." I said, "Okay, that's fine." So I got there about 6:30, and there was Greg and Tad, and they were all smiles. They're like, "Oh, good to see you." And they bring me in the Black Box Theater. In the Black Box Theater, I should tell you this, they were doing Neil Simon's Chapter 2 in that theater up until a week ago. Well, they haven't taken down the set. And I knew that when I booked it. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm real sorry about this." I go, "No, when we talked, you told me, and I told you it was not a problem. I'm just standing in place. I don't need an elaborate stage deal." He goes, "Okay, well, as long as you don't mind." And it's a living room. It was like, an ottoman and a fucking couple of chairs and some paintings and a desk. I mean, it was like doing stand-up in somebody's house. It was ridiculous looking. And he brought me in and he's like, "Okay, so this is here." He goes, "If you need me to move anything." And also he told me there would be no microphone. He goes, "I'm real sorry. There's probably not going to be a microphone." And I said, "Well, that would be bad. I kind of need a microphone." He goes, "Oh, I'm here to tell you definitely don't. The space is not that big." I go, "Yeah, I'm going to be talking for about 2 hours by myself and there's some yelling involved. I would really like it. I go, it's more of a crutch than a necessity, but if you can do it, that'd be great. So when I showed up, right there on the stage was a microphone and a tripod microphone stand, which I am not a fan of, but at that point I didn't fucking care because I had assumed there was no microphone to be had. So I didn't even mention the tripod to him. But he accommodated that. He had a table on the stage for me, and he walked me in, and the theater was really nice. It was a really nice space because there were 70 seats, and they were on risers, and they were comfortable seats. They weren't like terrible seats like in some places I've been in. And they set up, there was like 70 chairs set up. And I told them how many tickets I had sold, and I anticipated some walk-ups, and then we had like 10 walk-ups, which was cool. And then he walked me in the back. He goes, here's your green room. He goes, and people were bringing me Propel, and I said, is there a place I can buy some water or something? He goes, well, next door there's a thing. He goes, what do you need it for? I said, well, I just want to drink some water. He goes, oh, hold on. And he goes and gets me bottles of water from the bar for free for me, hands them to me. And he goes, if you need anything, you let me know. He introduces me to Corey, and she's doing my lights and sound. And he goes, do you have any music? And I go, well, I was told that you guys didn't do music. He goes, well, we can play music. And I was like, God damn it, because I didn't bring my iPods. So I said, I'd like music in the room, but I didn't bring any. I usually make a mix for the room, but you guys mentioned that you wouldn't have it. He goes, well, Corey, can you do something? He goes, well, yeah. She goes, I can play it right off my phone. She goes, I can play whatever you need. What kind of music do you want? I go, I don't know, like rock music or whatever. So she did. She gave up her phone and used it and played music for everybody. She handled the lights. The bottom line is they did not know that I was coming. Like they completely lost the plot and had no idea I was going to be there. And they turned out to be one of the most accommodating professional places I've ever worked. They were so friendly, so nice. They bent over backwards to do everything they could to make me comfortable. They walked me to the green room. Because normally I walk into a joint and they go, all right, this is this, thanks. And they walk away. He was so proud of his theater. He was like, we just put this in, check this out, we look at this, and he brought me in the back, and he could not have been nicer, to the point where I would book it immediately to go back. I absolutely would go back. And I told him so. I went up and I did the show, and the show went very well, and everybody was very nice who came out. Like I said, I had sold a certain amount of tickets, and then we had walk-up tickets, which were really strong, which was cool. And then afterwards, I took pictures with people, sold shirts, hung out. And, I got to meet a bunch of people. I met, who was it? Shane and Renee came. I don't think Renee had ever heard. Well, no, I can't remember if she had heard the podcast. Look, kill me if you must. But I mean, I met so many people. I think Renee did not know me. Or no, she did know me. She knew the podcast through Shane. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. Who knows? But I met them. They were real nice. They put a picture up on my Facebook, actually, which was really cool. I met a burlesque performer there.
Really?
Yeah, and who knows. She comes up to me and was very nice. She also she didn't know me very well. Her husband is a fan. And, but then he got her listening to me, I think. And I could be blowing these whole fucking stories. But her name, I don't know if I want to give her real name or her burlesque name. What should I do?
Stage name.
Her stage name was Appaloosa Red. And, she's in Texas, and she knows Red Snapper. And she said she's actually talked to you on Facebook. Could not have been friendlier or more nice. And her husband, Jeff, were there, and they could not hang out. They had to take off afterwards. And I met so many other people. I met Joe Vaquera, who I've met before, and his girl, and other people. And people brought friends. And Brian, our friend Brian, was there, and he brought a couple guys who did not know who I was. And they became fans by the end of the night, which was real nice. I think the guy's name was Adrian. I know it was he had a double A. His initials were double A, so I called him double A. I think it's Adrian. Yeah. So he put a picture up on my Facebook page with me and him. And so it was nice meeting. It was great meeting everybody. So then everybody was wondering where we were going to go and what we were going to do. I said, stick around and make a plan. A plan? I was going to say a plot and a plan. Actually, I had plan at that restaurant. Oh, it was awful. It's like pumpkin flan. So I said, guys, pick a place because I don't know anything. So I signed everything. I was very nice. I didn't sign anything. I took pictures and everybody was cool. So there was a group of people who decided we were going to go out. So there's a girl named Arian who saw me in Austin. I don't think she'd ever heard the podcast. And then she saw me in Austin and really liked what I did and came up to me and introduced herself, and that was really nice. And ever since then, we've communicated on Facebook. She's been a fan, and she's a photographer, really just a sweet girl. And she came up to me and she's like, look, there's a place called Chacho's, which is like a 24-hour Mexican joint. And I go, well, is it small? She goes, no, it's big, and it's pretty busy. but the food is good and it's close. And I was like, well, I'm up for that. She goes, well, I don't know if you'd like it because it's kind of divey. I said, no, fuck that. I go, if we can all fit and everybody can go and have a good time, I'm cool with it. Let's go. She said, great. So she made the plans with everyone. And she had come from Austin, Arian did. And she came down with her friends, Steven and Trey, and Rocket Ship Robin was with them as well. She became my friend that morning on Facebook. And then she came up to me and she goes, I'm Rocket Ship Robin. And she goes, I'm Robin. We became friends on Facebook. I go, Rocket Ship Robin? She goes, yes. So then Arian walks over and she shows me, she's got a big fucking like a bubble looking thing. She opens it up. Arian made me a cake. Arian made me a peanut butter and jelly cake.
Oh, yum.
And on the cake itself, she had written in jelly on the top, "Everybody cares," with the little logo guy, with the little, the Schmitty head logo. And that was fucking amazing. You didn't have to do that. It was so great. So Arian made the cake from scratch and brought it all the way from Austin, which could not have been easy with Trey because he wanted to eat it. I know he did. He was the whole time. He's like, let's eat that cake. So then we all went out to Chacho's, and it was our friend Doug and Cindy, who are a couple who had flown in from Dallas that day. Doug and Cindy came out, and also Tony Morrison is our friend from Houston, and his buddy Matt. They had also seen me in Austin. So Tony and Matt and Doug and Cindy and Trey and Arian and Steven and Rocket Ship Robin and John Rayner came out. Now you're thinking to yourself, who's John Rayner? Well, if you, by year 3, the first ever sponsor of this show was a guy in England named John, and I wound up saying that he created a system of troughs that run underneath adult bookstores, and they take cum out to the sea. And that's John. He now lives in Dallas. His company has relocated him there with his family. And he came from Dallas with his wife and kids to the show and left them, of course, in a hotel. They wanted nothing to do with me. But John came out, and then he was going to go out with us that night. And I met him, because I'd never met him before. He, fucking sponsored the show for months. It was so great. So the 10 of us go to Chacho's. So I grabbed my stuff, and I go over to Corey, and who ran the lights, and I spiffed her, and I said, hey, I just want to thank you for all your help. She goes, oh, well, no, that's fine. They pay me to do it. And I go, no. I work a lot of places, and nobody cares. And you guys did. And I can't thank you enough for that. You made me comfortable, and I'm not from here. I flew in yesterday. I booked this over the phone. So to come here and to have you guys treat me like someone who's supposed to be here and is actually working here, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And she was funny. She was all bashful. She made like a little face like, oh, thanks. And then I went out to find Greg, and same thing. I took Greg and Ted aside, and I said, listen, you guys, when this started out, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, they don't know who I am. I don't know what's going to happen. But you made good on it 150%. I mean, you brought me in, you treated me like a performer, and you took care of me. And I told them the same thing. I work in venues all over the country, and people don't care. And you guys cared, and you should be proud because it was great. Because I'll tell you what, I worked in the Black Box. They have a 500-seat theater attached to it, and they had the full Monty in there that night. So they had a full house for that, and they took care of that, and they took care of me in the Black Box. It was just so great. They treated me as if I were in the 500-seat theater. So great. I can't wait to go back. So we go to Chacho's, and we walk in, and it is packed. I mean, crazy fucking packed. And you got to stand in line and order your food, and they call in numbers, and there's got to be 50 people working in that kitchen. I mean, it was crazy. And Matt was so great because there's 10 of us, so we need a table, and there's no tables. Everybody's sitting down. We were going to sit outside, but then Matt, a group of 4 got up, and Matt immediately sat at their table. So we all go wait in line for food, and I look over at Matt, and he's got his head on a swivel. To him, it was like his Vietnam, and it was fucking great. He's like looking around, and a group of 4 gets up from another table, and he walks over and he picks that table up and he puts it with the other table, and he sits down. So now he's got 2 tables. And then Doug was in line with me, and then Cindy went to keep Matt company because he looked so like a crazy person by himself. So Tony was the first guy in line for food, and all of our food came, and Tony didn't get his food. He ordered 2 tacos. What the fuck? Whatever. So it was great. We hung out at Chacho's, and then Matt steals another table, and there's all 3 tables, so all 10 of us have a place to go, and we just ate, man. And Arian was real nice. She paid for my food, which she did not have to do. She made a fucking cake. And it's this place that makes really giant food, like nachos and a snow shovel. I mean, it was just gigantic food. And so I was going to order a few things because it all looked good. And I go, just get a chicken plate that I wanted. So they had like 2 tacos and a taquito and a flauta, and and was just gigantic. And I ate some of that. And I said, everybody else, please take this. Do what you want. And we hung out at the table and just had a good time. Then she went and got the cake, and we ate that. And I got to tell you, peanut butter and jelly cake, it is a fantastic idea in theory, but in execution, it is a rough eat. I mean, it is like, it's so delicious, but it is so rich. I mean, it is just so dense. And I ate like 2 forkfuls, and I had to hold off. I had to drink like almost a whole water, like to dilute it. And then I kind of made my way through the rest of the piece. And then I was like, I ate the middle out with the jelly, and I'm like, I'm good. You know what I mean? And everybody else we ate half the cake. Everybody ate 1 piece, and then we were all like, woof, because we had just eaten fucking giant Chacho's food too, which did not help. So, I mean, after my show, we went to Chacho's. Now, I had to be back at the airport at 5 a.m. So we were at Chacho's till like 1. And I should tell you this. I drove to Chacho's with Doug and Cindy, and John drove. He had a big Ford Expedition. Psychopath. Complete psychopath. I'm glad he lived to sponsor the show, because he's come to America and he's taken full advantage of our paved roads. I don't know what they have in Europe where the fucking king and his horses are towing whatever the fuck they've got, a big case or a giant wagon, because he came here and he's in this expedition. And John is like 5'6", and his seat is pulled all the way up to the steering wheel, so he can lean on the steering wheel and like steer it with like his whole upper body. It was weird. It was like drag racing with an Oompa Loompa. I mean, it's like so fucking crazy. And he punched it like he's like, and I mean, he's got a Hemi and a V8 or whatever the fuck in this Ford. And I looked at him and I go, are you going to kill me? Honestly, do you not know what side of the road, or is this a plot to murder me? And we're laughing, haha. But and honestly, inside I'm kind of like, this is crazy. Like, he's swerving around. It's nuts. And oh, by the way, we had to drive past Magic Boulevard. That was a street in San Antonio. How the fuck do you not want to live on Magic Boulevard? That I would live there. I would have to build my own shed. I would live on Magic Boulevard if I moved there. It was so great. So he drove his psycho car, and then he had to leave a little early, so I went to his car to get my stuff out. And Steven walked out with me, because I had to put my stuff in Steven's car. And as John drove away to leave the parking lot, I go, he's gonna punch it. Listen. And he goes, really? I go, we were driving here, dude. We were floating around like a goddamn land speeder. It was brutal. And so Steven opens his car, and all of a sudden you just hear, like he fucking floors it and peels out. I go, God damn, I don't know how they do it in England. They don't have roads. Again, we talked about it. So then we go in and we finish at Chacho's. We get done at about 1. And 1:30, I say goodbye to everybody. And everybody was really nice to me and said all their goodbyes and told me that they enjoyed the show, which was great. And Arian, I took photos with everyone, and it was just fantastic. It was such a great time. The show was great. And by the way, I have to trim it down for the CD, right? So I'm looking to try to get in the neighborhood of 90 minutes for the CD. Show in San Antonio, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That seems long. So, and then I had to lose Detroit, so I have 1 show left to tune it up for the CD, which I can do. I know I can do it. It's just a matter of doing it, which is something I've said my entire life. So I go back to the hotel. They dropped me off, which was nice, and I go upstairs, and I was gonna pack. I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't want to sleep because I knew Robert was picking me up at 4. But then finally at 3, I gave up and I crashed. I got like 45 minutes of sleep, packed, and then went down and met Robert, and went to the airport, flew home. It was fantastic. So I mean, I don't know if there was a whole show in that. Bless you. Bless you. Good Lord, allergies. Maybe you're allergic to me telling stories. I mean, that might be a twist. I figured you built up some sort of immunity to it over the years, but perhaps not. But I want to go back to Texas. I mean, it was like they wanted me to go back to Dallas and Houston because Tony's from Houston and John's from Dallas. Everybody's like, you should go. Whoa, do you hear that? That's fucking Rick. Dudes. Oh, man. I didn't think I was going to be here for it. Now I want to fucking go over there. Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight has Rick Springfield live playing with the Foo Fighters, and they're playing on Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood Boulevard is closed, and I couldn't get tickets to it. I wanted to, but I couldn't, and I knew I was recording this anyway, and then I'm on a plane in the morning, and now I fucking hear him. You can hear him out Lily's window. Could I sneak over there, do you think? Do you think I could make it? Fuck, I could try. Or I could at least hear it, right? What song are they doing? Hold on. It sounds like Love Somebody, but I can't tell. God damn it. How sad is that I have like Rick Detector? Rick Radar went off there. Holy shit. I gotta get out of here. Fuck it. All right, I gotta go see Rick. because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go with this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where are you going, boy?